I would rather die than marry Jiang Fan. Su Yining held the 3-foot green sword against her neck, tears of grievance streaming down her cheeks. The hall was in an uproar with many clan members. Yining, don't be impulsive. It's my fault, I shouldn't have forced you. Su Zhengyan was scared to the point of his heart in his throat, struggling to calm her down. 10 years ago, Jiang Fan's father saved old master Su's life. Out of gratitude, the old master promised that you two would marry at the age of 18. If you break off the engagement, people will say we're ungrateful. Now that you've finally been noticed by the Green Cloud sect and are set to become a true disciple, if they learn of this and some elder is displeased, your disciple qualification might be revoked. Su Yining's expression changed, and she stomped her foot, saying, I don't care. I won't marry Jiang Fan and I can't lose my reputation. Father, think of something for me? Su Zhengyan had a splitting headache, his eyes inadvertently glancing at Jiang Fan in the corner. Handsome appearance, tall and slender, with peaceful and insightful eyes, exuding a graceful and indifferent aura. He was a handsome young man. Sadly, he was a mute. Moreover, a mute who had been tested multiple times but had no spirit root. His daughter, on the other hand, was a 6th-grade spirit root genius, favored by the elders of the Green Cloud sect, who planned to accept her as a true disciple with a boundless future. One was in the heavens, the other on the earth, completely worlds apart. Husband, if there's no other way, let Yoren marry in place of Yining. His wife, Wang Yingfeng, who was by his side, sighed helplessly. The Su clan members' eyes all shot towards Su Yoren at the back of the crowd. A graceful young girl in green attire with a tranquil temperament. Her beauty was such that people couldn't take their eyes off her. As an elder sister, she was much more attractive than her younger sister, Su Yining. But unfortunately, she was born of a concubine and held a far lesser status in the Su family compared to Su Yining. Wang Yingfeng suggesting Su Yoren marry in place of her daughter, to a mute, was unbearable to many in the Su family. Such a beautiful woman like Su Yoren would have her life ruined by marrying a mute like Jiang Fan. Father, I just want to serve you by your side. Please don't marry me off. Upon hearing this, Su Yoren's face instantly went pale. Biting her red lips, she pleaded helplessly. But Su Zhengyan ignored her look, stepping forward to grip her shoulders earnestly. Yoren, our Su family has been in decline for 100 years. It took us a lot to produce a genius like your sister. The future of the Su family rests on her. Consider this as a plea from your father. Marry Jiang Fan in place of your sister. Seeing her still hesitating, Su Zhengyan gritted his teeth and bent down on his knees. Do you want your father to kneel and beg you? Su Yoren was startled and quickly helped him up in panic. Father, don't do this. I'll marry, isn't that enough? The moment she agreed, her eyes were filled with grievance. Only then did Su Zhengyan stand up straight. The heavy stone in his chest, suspended for years, was finally set down. He revealed a relieved smile and looked at Jiang Fan. Fan, what do you think? Jiang Fan sat calmly in the corner, leisurely sipping his tea. Upon hearing this, he raised his eyes. He glanced at Su Yoren, who was bowing her head in silence with tears in her eyes, and sighed silently in his heart. So pitiful, being calculated against by her own family. The Su family never intended to marry their prodigy daughter, Su Yining, to Jiang Fan. They had planned all along to use Su Yoren as a sacrifice. From Su Yining's deadly threat to Wang Yingfeng proposing a replacement, to Su Zhengyan's emotional appeal, it was all prearranged. Su Yoren, pure and kind, easily fell for it and agreed to the replacement. Such a poor girl, how could Jiang Fan bear to harm her? He picked up the paper and pen he always carried and wrote a note. Uncle, don't trouble Yoren. Su Mansion has taken care of me for 10 years, which repays the life-saving debt from my father. Let's annul the engagement today. Even without considering Su Yoren, Jiang Fan had intended to annul the engagement. Since they saved old Master Su 10 years ago, they had been residing at the Su Mansion. After his father's death 3 years ago, as time passed, the Su family gradually distanced themselves from him. Jiang Fan understood that the Su family's patience had worn thin. If not for concerns that breaking the engagement would harm their reputation, they would have kicked Jiang Fan out of the Su Mansion long ago. Now it was time for him to leave. After reading his note, Su Zhengyan felt a surge of excitement. Jiang Fan staying at the Su Mansion constantly reminded Su Zhengyan of the immense debt owed to the Jiang family. Day after day, year after year, it was like a thorn in Su Zhengyan's throat, impossible to remove. Now that he wanted to leave, it was the best news possible. Unexpectedly, Wang Yingfeng spoke sincerely. Fan, how could this be? The engagement was made by the old master. How dare we go against his wishes? If he returns from his travels and finds out we didn't fulfill the agreement, neither your uncle nor I could bear the consequences. If you truly appreciate the care of Su Mansion for the past 10 years, marry Yoren, and we all become a family." Some shrewd clan members saw through Wang Yingfeng's real intentions. She wanted to marry Su Yoren to the mute Jiang Fan, destroying her lifetime happiness, thus eliminating any threat to her daughter Su Yining. With Su Yoren's outstanding temperament and unrivaled beauty, she was famous far and wide as a great beauty. Many young men from powerful families were coveting her. If she married into a powerful family or became the wife or concubine of a strong figure, she would undoubtedly become a rival to Su Yining. By marrying her to Jiang Fan, a useless mute with no spirit root, they would completely eliminate the hidden threat. Truly vicious. Jiang Fan saw everything clearly and looked at Su Yoren silently crying, sighed silently, and thought, even if I help her today, after I leave, she won't escape Wang Yingfeng's clutches. At that time, her fate might be worse than marrying a mute. Over the years, Su Yoren had been the only one who treated him kindly. The year his father passed away, he had fallen severely ill from grief, bedridden for 7 days and nights. The Su family turned a blind eye, but Su Yoren stayed by his bedside without sleep for 7 days, nursing him back to health. He couldn't bear to leave this pure and kind girl to fend for herself in the Su family's pit of misery. After much contemplation, he helplessly took up the pen and wrote a single word to Wang Yingfeng. "All right," Wang Yingfeng broke into a smile, warmly saying, "Yoren, quickly take Jiang Fan to have his clothes measured. You two will marry in a month." She was eager for them to marry to avoid any unforeseen issues. Su Yoren wiped her tears, her eyes red and swollen, and came to Jiang Fan. "Come with me. I have something to tell you." In the boudoir, though called a boudoir, it was only slightly better than a maid's room, very simple. Su Yoren opened the drawer of her dressing table, taking out a small pouch hidden in a corner. Inside were various sizes of broken silver. "Little mute, you shouldn't have agreed." Su Yoren sighed. "They don't really want you to marry me. They just don't want to be labeled as ungrateful. Once my sister joins the Green Cloud sect, they will mistreat you and find ways to make you leave." "Oh," Jiang Fan smiled slightly. She wasn't so naive after all. Su Yoren stuffed the money pouch into Jiang Fan's hand, softly saying, "Take this money and leave the Su mansion, leave Lonely Boat City. I don't want you to live a life like mine." Jiang Fan wrote a note. "What about you?" Su Yoren's lips curled into a bitter smile. "This is my home. No matter how badly they treat me, I can't leave." Suddenly, they heard the maids chattering and laughing as they went to fetch satin from the storeroom. She said nervously, "You must go quickly, don't hesitate." But at the thought of this parting that might be forever, that they may never see this companion she grew up with again, a surge of inexplicable sadness arose in her heart, and she said hoarsely, "Out there, don't trust strangers easily, don't eat their food, don't drink their water. Also, don't talk to people randomly. If they find out you're mute, they will bully you. Do you understand, little mute?" As she spoke, her voice started to choke with sobs. Tears began to well up in her eyes. Jiang Fan stepped forward, gently patting her head, and softly said, "You should call me husband from now on." "Huh." Su Yoren abruptly raised her head, her eyes wide in shock as if she had seen a ghost, stammering, You spoke. You're not a mute." Jiang Fan sneered, "Did I ever say that I was mute?" Su Yoren's mind was in chaos as she stammered, You're pretending to be mute? Why?" Jiang Fan clasped his hands behind his back and silently gazed out the window. Moments passed. The clear sky echoed with 2 thunderous booms, startling everyone in the Su mansion, causing them to rush outside and look around. Su Yoren also flinched at the sudden thunder, whispering, "Why is there thunder out of nowhere, just like 3 years ago?" Jiang Fan remained expressionless. This was why he pretended to be mute. He had a mysterious seed inside him, and every time he spoke, a trace of the seed's aura would escape, summoning the wrath of the heavenly thunder. His father had warned him since childhood not to speak. For 18 years, he followed his father's advice meticulously, except when his father passed away. That night, lightning and thunder raged, and it didn't stop till morning. Seeing the sorrow in his eyes, Su Yoren softly said, all right, I won't ask any more. Pack your things and leave quickly. If Aunt Wang finds out that you've been pretending to be mute all along, she'll be even more suspicious." Jiang Fan turned around, gently took her delicate hand, and said, "I won't leave. I'll stay and marry you to protect you from now on." Su Yoren's face blushed instantly. The words "protect you" echoed in her ears, making her heart race inexplicably. She hurriedly withdrew her hand, lightly scolding, "Stop bragging, your spirit root isn't even as good as mine." Jiang Fan smiled but said nothing. His father had revealed the truth about the seed on his deathbed. It was a divine object with immense potential, needing 18 years to sprout. Upon sprouting, the host would undergo a transformative change. Today was the last day of those 18 years. Jiang Fan would be reborn with the first light of dawn tomorrow. Then there would be no more mute Jiang Fan, no more worthless Jiang Fan. He looked at Su Yoren confidently and said, "Trust me." Seeing the calm and resolute look in Jiang Fan's eyes, a warm current surged in Su Yoren's heart. Since her mother's death, this was the first time someone had said they would protect her. After a long pause, she pushed the money pouch back into Jiang Fan's hands. Jiang Fan frowned slightly. She still didn't believe in him. It wasn't surprising. He was still a mute, an ordinary person without a spirit root. But when the seed sprouted tomorrow, Su Yoren looked at him, her cheeks tinged with a hint of red, and softly said, "Keep this as a betrothal gift for marrying me." Boom, it wasn't the sky thundering. It was inside Jiang Fan's heart. He never thought there would be a day when a girl would offer her lifetime savings as a dowry to marry him. Unexplainable emotions entwined around Jiang Fan's heart. It made him feel an intense urge to hold Su Yoren tightly and protect her well. "What are you standing there for?" Su Yoren reached out her small hand, gently tidying his clothes, and said tenderly, "Uncle Jiang lived in poverty all his life and didn't leave you any wealth. I hope this savings can help you." Even though she herself lived a hard life, she was still thinking of Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan couldn't hold back anymore and pulled her into his arms, embracing her lithe waist. He spoke softly again, "Perhaps our way of coming together was unexpected, but the ending will be right. The best marriages happened when you met the right person. And perhaps Jiang Fan had found the right one." Su Yoren's face turned crimson, like a persimmon in late autumn. Her mind blank, her body stiff, unable to move as Jiang Fan held her. After a long while, she snapped out of it, panicking as she broke away, saying, I'm going to measure the clothes." Watching her retreating figure, Jiang Fan placed the money pouch back on the table, smiling. "How could marrying my wife be so miserly? Yoren, I will marry you in a grand way." Rumble, two more bolts of heavenly thunder exploded in succession. Jiang Fan glared at the sky angrily, muttering, "Go ahead and roar. After tonight you'll have no more chances." In the backyard, in Wang Yingfeng's bedroom. "Aunt, how could you marry cousin Yoren to that worthless Jiang Fan?" Lu Zheng, who had also lived in the Su mansion for 10 years, knelt before Wang Yingfeng, his face full of anxiety. "Please, take back your decision and marry cousin to me." Lu Zheng, Wang Yingfeng's nephew, was smart and talented, a third-grade spirit root genius. So Wang Yingfeng had brought him to the Su mansion to nurture him from a young age. And he had lived up to her expectations, reaching the 5th layer of Qi cultivation at the age of 20, bringing much pride to Wang Yingfeng in front of her family. However, what made Wang Yingfeng headache was that Lu Zheng liked Su Yoren very much and always considered her his woman. To prevent him from causing trouble, she had sent him away today to collect a debt in another town. But somehow he had still gotten wind of the news and rushed back in haste. "Zheng, Yoren marrying Jiang Fan concerns the future of the Su family. Your aunt can compromise on other matters, but on this, you cannot be reckless." To thoroughly suppress Su Yoren, Wang Yingfeng was determined to tie her fate to the worthless Jiang Fan, ruining her life. However, seeing Lu Zheng's anguished expression, she softened, speaking meaningfully. "Your aunt only forbade you from interfering with their marriage, not from acting after it's done. If by some accident Jiang Fan dies, you can still marry Yoren." If Su Yoren became a widow, those great families and powerful men would similarly not accept her. Who would marry a widow who wouldn't find it shameful? "I understand, thank you, Aunt." Lu Zheng suddenly realized, his face brightening with joy. He handed over a packet of snacks. "Aunt, this is a specialty from Biliu City, snow cream, your favorite. I brought it back especially for you." Wang Yingfeng gently rebuked, "You, always focusing on pleasing others instead of cultivating properly." Though she said this, her smile betrayed her delight. "Pleasing Aunt is my duty. I'll go help Jiang Fan set up the wedding arrangements so they can marry soon," Lu Zheng said with a grin. "Go on. Don't forget to rise early tomorrow. Your aunt will accompany you to the detection tower for your spirit root reevaluation," Wang Yingfeng replied with a smile. "Yes," Lu Zheng bowed and left with a smile on his face. But the moment he stepped out of Wang Yingfeng's room, the smile on his face gradually vanished, replaced by a sinister look. "Marrying something Jiang Fan has used. That old woman must be joking. I, Lu Zheng, want only the best." Once my spirit root is reevaluated tomorrow and found to be higher, I'll snatch Su Yoren back in front of everyone in the Su family. Early the next morning, in a simple room in the west courtyard of the Su mansion, Jiang Fan paced back and forth in the room, occasionally looking out the window, his eyes bloodshot. Why isn't the sun rising? Jiang Fan felt anxious. He had waited 18 years for this day. He thought he was calm, emotions unaltered by external influences, ready to face the seed sprouting. But now that the day had arrived, he had spent the entire night sleepless, filled with unease. Father didn't lie to me, did he? Is this seed really magical? Will it truly transform me? Countless thoughts churned through his mind, making Jiang Fan take deep breaths nervously. Suddenly, a beam of dazzling light pierced through the clouds and into the room. Almost simultaneously, Jiang Fan vaguely heard a cracking sound, as if some hard shell had broken open. The seed had sprouted. The moment of rebirth after 18 years had arrived. He quickly sat cross-legged, holding his breath and concentrating his mind. The sound of the shell breaking grew more intense in his ears. At first, it was as quiet as a mosquito, then it grew louder like raindrops pounding, and finally it boomed like war drums. At last, a thunderous roar that seemed to crack mountains and split the earth exploded right by his ears, plunging Jiang Fan into darkness. In the darkness, he saw a tender shoot breaking through the soil. Its emergence seemed to disturb some supreme existence, which sent down devastating thunderbolts trying to crush it back underground. The tender shoot slowly opened and effortlessly absorbed the thunderbolts. It then grew robustly at a speed visible to the naked eye. An inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, a yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, 10 yards, 100 yards, 1,000 yards. Jiang Fan watched in astonishment as a single seed grew into an endlessly tall, towering tree, using the thunderbolts as its nutrients. Realizing it could not stop the growth, the thunder gradually ceased. Just when Jiang Fan thought it was over, a majestic and powerful roar erupted. How dare you take the void ancient clan's divine tree? Whoever you are, wherever you are, we will find you. We will find you. The roar hit his ears, causing his head to ache as if it would split apart, and his soul was about to shatter under the unparalleled divine power. In that moment of crisis, the void ancient tree scattered green light, which merged into Jiang Fan's body. The tearing sensation gradually disappeared, and under the influence of the green light, a spirit root began to form in his danshan. Having narrowly survived, Jiang Fan's face turned pale. Who was that? A roar that transcended time and space almost destroyed him. And why did they say the tree belonged to the void ancient clan? Wasn't it given to him by his father? After a long time, he managed to calm the waves in his heart, then subconsciously looked at his abdomen and couldn't help but tremble in his voice. Spirit root, I have a spirit root now, he exclaimed with immense joy. He had waited 18 years for this transformation, and it finally arrived. Immediately, he knelt on the ground full of sorrow. Dad, did you see that? Your son now has a spirit root, and he can protect himself from now on. You can rest in peace in heaven. He bowed deeply, his eyes moist. Before his father's death, his greatest worry was Jiang Fan's lack of strength and protection for his growth. Now, he had a spirit root. His father, who protected his child throughout his life, could finally see him grown up. After a long time, Jiang Fan calmed down and carefully examined the spirit root, only to be taken aback. Transparent? His spirit root was actually transparent without any color. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, black, white, but none are transparent. Su Yining's spirit root was azure, representing a 6th grade spirit root. The highest in legend is the white spirit root, representing the 9th grade, but a transparent spirit root had never been heard of. It seems I need to go to the detection hall to confirm. Jiang Fan muttered to himself. On this continent, there was an ancient power called the Heavenly Mechanism Hall, with the famous Green Cloud sect being just one of its 9 subordinate sects. They had established a detection tower in every city, providing free spirit root detection for everyone. If an excellent spirit root was detected, one could apply to join the local sect through the detection tower master. For instance, Su Yining was detected as having a 6th grade spirit root, which alarmed an elder of the Green Cloud sect, making an exception to take her as a true disciple. It was said that if one's talent was unparalleled, it might even attract someone from the Heavenly Mechanism Hall to recruit them directly. But it was only rumored, as no one had ever been directly recruited by the Heavenly Mechanism Hall since the detection tower in Lonely Boat City was established. To enter the Heavenly Mechanism Hall, one had to further cultivate in one of the 9 major sects for 3 years. with only the most outstanding among them standing a chance of being selected by the Heavenly Mechanism Hall. He wondered what grade his transparent spirit root would be. At that moment, Jiang Fan suddenly noticed that the lush, void divine tree was filled with huge, transparent fruits. In the lowest hanging fruit, a cultivation technique was sealed. Profound level high-grade mental method, dragon-seeking scripture. Reading the inscription on the technique, Jiang Fan was shocked. The Su family, as an old power in Lonely Boat City, had its treasure technique which was only a yellow-level medium-grade swordsmanship, ranking among the top 10 techniques in Lonely Boat City. Several crises in Su family history sprang from others coveting it. A single profound-level high-grade technique was enough to plunge the world into chaos. He held his breath and rushed to the tree, attempting to jump and grab the fruit. But an invisible force pushed him back to the ground. A trace of information emerged in his mind. Only those in the foundation establishment stage can pick the lowest fruit. Soon after, the dark world in front of him gradually dissipated, and he returned to the simple room he lived in. He was stunned. The experience just now felt like a dream, but the spirit root in his abdomen confirmed that it was all real. Dragon-seeking scripture, foundation establishment stage. Jiang Fan excitedly licked his lips, itching to break through to the foundation establishment realm immediately. Not wanting to waste any time, he left the Su mansion, half walking and half running, until he reached the detection tower, gasping for breath. It was still early morning and the detection tower had not yet opened. A group of young boys and girls were waiting outside the tower for their tests. "Zheng, today's retest, don't be nervous. The tower master said you underperformed last time because of nerves." Wang Yingfeng stood with Lu Zhang, waiting for the tower to open. "You should have been at least a third-grade top level, but nerves only showed you as a third-grade medium. Because of this difference, I couldn't secure more resources for you from the Su family." Lu Zhang nodded heavily. The Su family's resources were limited, most of which went to Su Yining, with the remainder allocated according to talent. Many in the Su family had third-grade spirit roots. Being a grade lower meant receiving far fewer resources. So this retest, he needed to show his true level. "If you can test as a third-grade top level, I will find a way to convince the Su family to make an exception and let you cultivate the Su's sword technique." For this nephew, Wang Yingfeng was willing to go all out, even planning to pass on the Su family's core secrets to an outsider. What? Lu Zheng was ecstatic. The Su's sword technique, a yellow-level medium-grade attack skill, was one of the top techniques in Lonely Boat City, accessible only to the core members of the Su family. After enduring 10 years of hardships in the Su family, he finally had the chance to touch its core techniques. In his excitement, he caught a glimpse of a familiar figure out of the corner of his eye and couldn't help but be surprised. "Jiang Fan, what are you doing here?" Jiang Fan calmly wrote down a note. "The same as you." Until his skills reached a certain level, he decided to continue pretending to be mute to avoid suspicion from the Su mansion. "The same as me? Ha-ha." Lu Zheng shook his head, filled with disdain. He was there for a higher spirit root retest. Jiang Fan had been tested several times. What was the point of another retest? He patted Jiang Fan on the shoulder, taunting. "Spirit roots are innate. If you have it, you have it. If not, you don't. Living a life as an ordinary person, what's wrong with that? Why chase after something you can't get?" Jiang Fan clenched his fists quietly. Why was he destined to be an ordinary person while others got to be high and mighty martial artists? At this moment, the doors opened. The detection tower master, an old man who had performed the same job for decades, looked numb and expressionless as he said, "As always, those with outstanding qualifications will receive cultivation technique rewards." Everyone looked indifferent, because the rewards were nearly out of reach for them. In recent decades, the only one who had received a reward was Su Yining, whose 6th-grade spirit root gifted her a yellow-level low-grade mental method. With that mental method, Su Yining reached the 8th layer of Qi cultivation in just 6 months. Even a 6th-grade spirit root only got the lowest-level technique, so the others didn't even bother to hope. But Jiang Fan's eyes gleamed. There are techniques up for grabs. He wanted to break through to the foundation establishment realm. He had to have a mental method. The mental method was a cultivation technique specifically for improving one's realm. Compared to swordsmanship or fist skills and other attack skills, the mental method was more central and more precious. Every power treated their mental method like a treasure, not allowing outsiders to touch it. The detection tower was the only place where an ordinary person could receive a mental method as a reward. but it was extremely difficult to obtain. Jiang Fan wasn't confident about getting the reward. After all, he had no idea what grade a transparent spirit root was. The crowd entered the detection tower. There were many separate rooms inside the tower. The tower master arranged for Jiang Fan and Lu Zheng from the Su family to enter adjacent rooms. Lu Zheng exuded confidence all over, glanced sideways at Jiang Fan, and said with a sly smile, "Don't be scared by the true grade of my spirit root later." He was confident that this time he could detect a third-grade, top-level spirit root. Thus, his status in the Su family would increase again. By then, it would be easier to snatch Su Yoren away. Jiang Fan shrugged and wrote on a piece of paper, "Let's wait and see." He had a spirit root too, though it was transparent. With the tower master's command, everyone entered the detection chambers simultaneously. It was Jiang Fan's fourth visit. After closing the stone door, he couldn't help but feel nervous as he looked at the crystal ruler floating in the center of the chamber. It had 9 colored markings, representing grades 1 to 9. When a martial artist placed their hand on it, the spirit root would trigger the corresponding color on the crystal ruler, indicating the grade of the spirit root. The detection was very accurate, never making errors. Taking a deep breath, Jiang Fan approached the crystal ruler and placed his hand on it. Buzz, the crystal ruler immediately trembled slightly. A ripple slowly rose from the base, reaching the red marking, then shot to the orange marking without stopping. Jiang Fan's heart relaxed a bit. He had always worried that his transparent spirit root might be some sort of waste spirit root with no grade. Soon the ripple reached the yellow marking, and then surged to the green marking with a rapid force. Jiang Fan's heart raced. The green represented a 4th-grade spirit root, already exceeding Lu Zheng's grade, a rare top spirit root in Lonely Boat City. But the ripple showed no sign of stopping. It went past the blue marking and reached the azure marking. Jiang Fan clenched his fist, his heart pounding fiercely. A 6th-grade spirit root reaching Su Yining's level. Yet the ripple didn't stop. Purple, 7th grade, black, 8th grade. Jiang Fan's heart was in his throat and he couldn't help but feel dry-mouthed. 8th grade. He had actually achieved 8th grade, breaking the highest record in Lonely Boat City. Buzz, the ripple still had immense momentum and surged to the highest marking, white. 9th grade. It was 9th grade. Jiang Fan's pupils contracted, his eyes filled with uncontrollable joy. He actually had an unprecedented 9th-grade spirit root. This was a legendary level. However, the ripple still didn't stop and continued to rise. The end of the crystal ruler was a large blank area with no markings. But the ripple continued rising and finally shot out of the ruler, flying out of the chamber. This left Jiang Fan dumbfounded. What kind of spirit root was his? He had detected it, but seemed like he hadn't. Almost at the moment, the ripple shot out of the crystal ruler. In the adjacent chamber, Lu Zheng watched the ripple in the crystal ruler rising slower and slower, like a snail climbing a wall. And when it finally settled at the critical point between mid and upper 3rd grade, his face turned ugly. "Rise, come on, rise, damn it!" Lu Zheng pounded the crystal ruler angrily, shouting in frustration. He thought he was a sure thing to reach 3rd grade top level, but ended up just a hair's breadth away. This difference meant he had no access to the Su family's resources, nor Wang Yingfeng's promised Su's sword technique. At that moment, the ripple in Jiang Fan's crystal ruler shot out of his chamber and passed by Lu Zheng's chamber. The powerful surge pulled the ripple in Lu Zheng's crystal ruler, causing it to climb again. It surged past the green, azure, blue, purple, and black markings. Finally, it climbed slowly and settled at the white marking. The white marking began to glow, and the light grew increasingly intense. The tower master was lying in a bamboo chair, holding a pen in one hand and lazily flipping through the registry with the other. At this time, the stone door of Chamber 3 lit up first, releasing a faint red glow. He found Chamber 3 in his registry and said indifferently, "Chamber 3, Miss Zhu of the Zhu family, Zhu Tingting, 1st grade lower spirit root." Soon, other chambers began to light up one after another. Chamber 7, Yu Wangdong, heir of the Liu family commerce, 1st grade upper spirit root. Chamber 1, Young Castle Master of Cheng Family Castle, Zheng Xianqiu, 1st grade lower spirit root. After recording the results of several chambers, the Tower Master shook his head repeatedly. Alas, Lonely Boat City is getting worse year by year. If not for Su Yining with her recent 6th grade spirit root, the detection tower here would be dismantled. Suddenly, a white light shot out from the seam of the stone door in Lu Zheng's chamber. The Tower Master rubbed his eyes, looking puzzled. White. On the crystal ruler, white represents crash. He sprang to his feet, the force of his movement sending the bamboo chair flying several dozen feet. His old face was filled with immense shock as he stared at the increasingly dazzling white light coming from Lu Zheng's chamber, exclaiming 4 words with astonishment. "Ninth grade, appearing!" As his words fell, the white light suddenly intensified, like a blazing sun emitting a blinding radiance, turning the entire detection tower pure white. The tower couldn't contain the overwhelming white light, which shot into the sky, piercing through the cloud layers. Su family. Su Yining had just finished meditating, surrounded by spiritual energy, her eyes sharp and bright. Beside her, Su Zhengyan looked proud. "Yining, you've broken through the 9th layer of Qi cultivation. At such a young age, this is unprecedented in our lonely boat city." Su Yining's brows held a trace of pride. After all, with a 6th grade spirit root, it's no surprise to cultivate so fast. "Once I join the Green Cloud sect and obtain a mid or even high yellow level mental method, I'll cultivate even faster." Suddenly, she glimpsed a beam of white light from the corner of her eye and was stunned. "Father, what is that?" Su Zhengyan, also shocked by the spectacular sight, observed for a while and then said, "It's from the detection tower. Could it be a world-class spirit root has appeared? I heard your grandfather say that many years ago in neighboring Bian City, a prodigy with an 8th grade spirit root appeared. During the detection, a black light beam shot into the sky, just like what we see now. Black light represented an 8th grade. Then the white beam must be 9th grade. Su Yining could hardly believe it as she watched the beam, unconsciously biting her lip. As proud as she was, she couldn't accept that someone in Lonely Boat City had a spirit root superior to hers, and far superior at that. Watching the gradually fading light, she gritted her teeth, threw down her sword, and rushed toward the detection tower, saying, "I must see who it is." Su Zhengyan worried about her impulsiveness, but he was also extremely curious about the identity of this extraordinary prodigy. So he quickened his pace to follow her. The entire Lonely Boat City went into chaos because of the appearance of the white light beam. Countless martial artists crazily flocked to the detection tower, eager to witness this once-in-several-hundred-years sight. Among them were even a few old clan leaders, long thought dead, who could no longer stay hidden and broke through their seclusion to witness the face of this world-altering talented one. The outside world was in turmoil. Inside the detection tower, it was in an uproar. The detecting martial artists rushed out of their chambers, crowding around Lu Zheng's stone door, filled with unparalleled shock. The tower master appeared manic, muttering nonstop. "A legend. I've witnessed a legend. In my lifetime, I've actually seen the legendary 9th grade spirit root. It's the same as our heavenly mechanism pavilion's pavilion master's spirit root." A young man with clenched fists said jealously, "Tower master, is 9th grade really the strongest?" The tower master glared at him and snorted, "Nonsense. 9th grade is of course the strongest." Seemingly recalling something, he paused, uncertain, and said, "There's indeed a type of spirit root that surpasses the 9th grade in this world. It is called the root of infinity. Legend has it that it is shadowless and invisible, transparent in color. This kind of spirit root is 10 times, even 100 times, stronger than the 9th grade. But such a spirit root only exists in myths. It simply doesn't exist in reality." "What, do you think you have the root of infinity?" the tower master mocked. 9th grade is the existence you can look up to in this life. Cherish the opportunity to face the genius of 9th grade. Once he grows up, you won't even have the chance to receive a glance from him for the rest of your life." Hearing this, the young man was full of bitterness. Just one talent assessment determined their future status as superior or inferior. One was a true dragon in the sky, the other an ant on the ground. Such a comparison, so cruel that it was despairing. Jiang Fan in the adjacent room naturally noticed this commotion. "No way! Lu Zheng has a 9th grade spirit root." Jiang Fan's face showed surprise. If he had such talent, why did 10 years of consuming the Su family's resources still leave him inferior to Su Yining's 6th grade? As he pondered, he suddenly realized his crystal ruler reacted once again. A dim ball of light flew out of the ruler, landing in front of him. When the light dispersed, it turned out to be 2 cultivation techniques. "Oh, are these rewards for me?" Jiang Fan's heart felt joy. He quickly picked them up and looked closely. One was a yellow-level high mental method called the Pure Wind Scripture. The other was a yellow-level high attack skill called the 7-star Sword Ju. The highest-level technique in Lonely Boat City was only yellow-level medium. He unexpectedly received 2 yellow-level high techniques at once. Most importantly, one of them was the mental method he urgently needed. "What level am I at to receive such high rewards?" Jiang Fan couldn't help but be surprised. Su Yining, with her 6th grade spirit root, was only rewarded a yellow level lower mental method. But regardless of the reason, with these 2 techniques and this transparent spirit root, he would make rapid progress in the shortest time. He safely tucked the techniques and opened the stone door. The huge sound of the opening door attracted the attention of countless onlookers. "So it's Jiang Fan? He scared me. I thought it was Lu Zheng coming out. Didn't Jiang Fan's assessment show no spirit root again this time?" Alas, just a wall apart, one is a peerless 9th grade, the other has no spirit root. The difference is mountainous. The Su family is a miraculous place. 10 years of sheltering raised both a waste and a peerless dragon, haha. Jiang Fan frowned. He wanted to argue with them, but after thinking it through, why bother? Quietly training in the 2 yellow-level high techniques and silently increasing his strength was the right path. He was now alone. If people knew his details, it would instead bring big trouble. Thus, he responded with a calm smile. "Jiang Fan, you are here too? What's the situation inside?" Su Yining and Su Zhengyan came over, noticing Jiang Fan also undergoing the assessment. Su Yining bit her red lips, speaking rapidly. Jiang Fan calmly wrote on a note, "Lu Zheng's assessment showed a 9th grade spirit root." "What?" Su Yining's face turned ghastly pale, staggering a few steps, unable to believe this reality. "Impossible, this is impossible. Could it really be a 9th grade genius born? Moreover, he was fostered in their own family. Her strong pride couldn't bear the blow, and she burst into tears. Jiang Fan silently sighed. He always felt there was some issue with Lu Zheng's spirit root assessment, so he casually comforted her, writing, "Keep calm and continue cultivating, await the future." Su Yining glanced at it, feeling it was Jiang Fan's sarcasm towards her, and said angrily, "Seeing me cry makes you feel happy, right? You think me rejecting your marriage proposal has its retribution, right? No matter what, I'm a 6th grade prodigy 100 times, 1,000 times better than you, a waste of a mute." Jiang Fan was speechless. She was angry, but why take it out on him? Truly, like not grateful. A dog biting Lu Dongbin without knowing a good person's heart. At this moment, the tower master, who also noticed Su Zhengyan's arrival, quickly ran over with an incredibly kind smile. "Brother Su, congratulations, congratulations." Su Zhengyan was flattered. The detection tower master usually never gave face to anyone, only slightly smiled at the city lord. So suddenly being so kind, calling him Brother Su, made him feel light as if walking on air. Next, the strongest person in Lonely Boat City, the city lord Yi Jiafeng, also came with cupped fists. "Family head Su, congratulations, Su Mansion produced a true dragon." Seeing Yi Jiafeng's barely smiling face, Su Zhengyan felt even more like he was dreaming. Once upon a time, he visited Yi Jiafeng with heavy gifts, only to be shut out, receiving no audience. Now he proactively came to express goodwill with envy and jealousy. Several secluded old monsters, whom Su Zhengyan had to address with utmost respect, also kindly approached, speaking about the connections between their ancestors and the Su family. It seemed as if overnight, the Su family transformed from an obscure declining family to the hottest first family in Lonely Boat City. Su Zhengyan was in a daze for a long time before gradually calming down. He understood it was all thanks to Lu Zheng. Wang Yingfeng proudly walked over. "Husband, do you remember what you said when I insisted on bringing Zheng into the Su family for cultivation?" Upon hearing this, Su Zhengyan's face was full of guilt. He had strongly opposed it. After all, the Su family's resources were limited. Giving them to an outsider would mean less for their own people. Under Wang Yingfeng's desperate plea, he reluctantly agreed. He never expected Lu Zheng to be so promising. "I was blind at the time, all thanks to you, my fortunate wife, that our Su family could attach itself to Zheng, this future peerless talent." Su Zhengyan embraced Wang Yingfeng, feeling extremely grateful. Wang Yingfeng's face was full of glory. Indeed, back then that 8th grade prodigy from Beyond City directly entered the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and later became its vice pavilion master. "Our Zheng is a 9th grade prodigy. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion will soon recruit him. Your Su family will soar to new heights with my Zheng's help." Su Zhengyan was swayed in his thoughts. Lu Zheng's 9th grade spirit root changed not just his fate, but the entire Su family. Not long after, amidst everyone's anticipation, Lu Zheng finally opened the stone door, walking out confidently. He came before Su Zhengyan, knelt on one knee and said, "Thank you, uncle, for your years of nurturing. I have not let you down. My assessment showed a 9th grade spirit root." For a moment, everyone envied Su Zhengyan. No one knew how much luck was required to get such a heavenly prodigy. Su Zhengyan didn't dare to act superior, quickly helping him up. "This won't do, Zheng. You're a ninth-grade prodigy. How can I, your uncle, deserve this kneel? Stand up quickly." Lu Zheng felt unprecedentedly elated. In the past, he always spoke and acted cautiously in front of Su Zhengyan. Slightly off would trigger a reprimand. Now Su Zhengyan revered him as a god. And the Tower Master, the city lord of Lonely Boat City, and some old monsters from various families all looked at him eagerly, hoping to establish a good relationship. This made him, who had long been at the bottom, feel invincible, as if he was overlooking the world from the nine-layered heaven. However, from the corner of his eye, he saw Jiang Fan's silhouette. Everyone bowed to his ninth-grade spirit root's brilliance. Only Jiang Fan, with his hands in his sleeves, showed neither reverence nor fear. This annoyed him greatly. A waste mute, why didn't he bow to him? "Jiang Fan, are you unconvinced?" In front of all the strongmen, all the bigwigs, and all the martial artists in Lonely Boat City, he threw his question firmly. Jiang Fan turned his head to look, his expression blank as he casually wrote, "Do you deserve it?" In his entire life, he only respected his father, who single-handedly raised him. Everyone else was unworthy. How laughable, a worthless person without a spirit root. What qualification do you have to act high and mighty in front of me? Lu Zheng said contemptuously. He then turned to Su Zhengyan, bowed, and said, "Uncle Su, I have a request." Su Zhengyan hurriedly said, "Dear nephew, you may speak. There is no need for such formalities." Lu Zheng glanced at Jiang Fan, a smirk at the corner of his mouth. "I have grown up alongside Yoren, and I cannot bear to see her marry a worthless person. I implore Uncle Su to give Yoren's hand in marriage to me. I am the one who can bring her happiness and a future." Su Zhengyan was in a difficult position. He had already promised Yoren to Jiang Fan. Could he go back on his word and have Yoren remarry? Wouldn't that make him a man of no integrity? "Uncle, if I declare my desire to marry, I believe many families present would gladly form an alliance with me, right?" With his hands behind his back, Lu Zheng said with a hint of threat, "At that time, I would be someone else's son-in-law." Su Zhengyan's face changed dramatically. Lu Zheng was the Su family's sky-reaching tree. If he were to lose him, Su Zhengyan would be the eternal sinner of the Su family. Compared to breaking his word and losing his integrity, being an eternal sinner was something he could not bear. As he was about to make a decision, Jiang Fan lifted his pen and aggressively wrote a few words. "Uncle Su, whether one can bring Yoren happiness depends on strength, not words." "I am willing to compete with Lu Zheng." Su Zhengyan felt a sudden relief. If Jiang Fan lost and withdrew voluntarily, he wouldn't have to bear the name of a man with no integrity. And Lu Zheng could marry Su Yoren as he wished. A perfect solution. As for the possibility of Jiang Fan winning, one had no spirit root, the other had a 9-grade spiritual root. He couldn't see how Jiang Fan could win. He quickly looked at Lu Zheng and said with a smile, "Zheng, what do you think?" Lu Zheng laughed heartily. "A worthless person wants to challenge a 9-grade spiritual root. Ha ha ha. Fine, since we both grew up at the Su Mansion, I'll give you a chance to compete against a 9-grade spiritual root. Even if you lose, you can brag about it for a lifetime." Su Zhengyan completely relaxed and said, "I'll give you 3 days. Whoever breaks through one level will have the qualification to marry Su Yoren." "What do you think?" "1 level in 3 days. Jiang Fan thought that in 3 days it was possible that he might break through more than 1 level. With his mysterious spirit root, coupled with the high-grade yellow-level mental method, it was not difficult at all. He immediately lifted his pen and wrote, "Agreed." Lu Zheng smiled confidently. "1 level, uncle, you underestimate my 9-grade spiritual root. Just wait and see in 3 days." At this moment, an old man dressed in luxurious robes stepped forward from among the dignitaries and said with clasped hands, "Young Master Lu, I am Qin Changsheng." On hearing this, everyone was moved. Qin Changsheng, the head of the first alchemy family in Lonely Boat City. With the ancestral formula for Qi Cultivation Liquid, they monopolized the supply to all surrounding cities. And Qi Cultivation Liquid was the only medicine that could enhance cultivation in the Qi cultivation realm. Thus, Lonely Boat City had a saying, "It's better to offend the city lord tenfold than to offend the Qin family slightly." His appearance immediately drew everyone's attention. Lu Zheng also recognized him and asked in confusion, "Qin family head, what is the matter?" Qin Changsheng smiled and presented a brocade box. Inside were 10 small jade bottles, each emanating spirit light, filled with the famous Qi cultivation liquid. The Chen family congratulates young Master Lu on detecting a 9-grade spiritual root. We have nothing else to offer, so please accept these 10 newly refined bottles of Qi Cultivation Liquid. We hope young Master Lu will win the beauty's hand in 3 days. 10 bottles. Many people looked greedily at the Qi Cultivation Liquid. A single bottle was priceless, not affordable for ordinary families. The Chen family giving away 10 bottles at once was indeed a generous gesture. With 10 bottles of Qi Cultivation Liquid, even a pig could undergo qualitative changes, not to mention Lu Zheng with his 9-grade spiritual root. They couldn't help but look sympathetically at Jiang Fan. This young man was destined to lose his bride. Jiang Fan's eyes narrowed slightly. The Qin family was clearly supporting Lu Zheng. Noticing Jiang Fan's gaze, Qin Changsheng did not withdraw. Instead, he said indifferently, "Additionally, from today, all Qin family shops are prohibited from selling Qi Cultivation Liquid to Jiang Fan." It wasn't just support, it was blatant suppression. Jiang Fan's eyes turned cold and he lifted his pen and wrote, "I hope you won't regret it." Qin Changsheng sneered. Regret abandoning a worthless person and embracing young Master Lu's favor." The crowd burst into laughter. Jiang Fan gave Qin Changsheng a meaningful look and silently walked away. The crowd also dispersed, following the end of the farce. On the way back, an elder following Qin Changsheng looked hesitant. "Family head, why did you press so hard and suppress a junior?" As an alchemy family, the Qin family earned enormous profits each year, attracting envy from many. Therefore, the Qin family had always adhered to a low-profile principle, offending no one. Qin Changsheng, understanding this well, had always maintained harmony and avoided conflict. Now he was so oppressive towards Jiang Fan, puzzling the elder. Qin Changsheng's expression was emotionless. "Do you remember the mysterious soul master who emerged 10 years ago?" The elder nodded. "Of course, I remember. The mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid he refined nearly destroyed our Qin family's 100-year enterprise. If he hadn't stopped at refining 10 bottles, exchanging them for money and some materials, his mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid might have completely taken over our market for low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid." The Qin family's Qi Cultivation Liquid was low-grade, less than half as effective as mid-grade. If that person had mass-produced and sold mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, who would still buy low-grade ones? His emergence back then almost led to the direct decline of the Qin family. Qin Changsheng said meaningfully, "Then do you remember when Lu Zheng came to our lonely boat city?" The elder thought carefully and exclaimed in shock. 10 years ago, family head, you mean?" "Exactly." Qin Changsheng's eyes gleamed with excitement. 10 years ago was when Lu Zheng arrived, and that mysterious soul master also appeared then. This is no coincidence. I think he is very likely the protector of Lu Zheng, the one with a 9-grade spiritual root. So now do you understand why I got involved in the competition between Lu Zheng and Jiang Fan? The elder suddenly understood and praised. Family head wants to gain Lu Zheng's favor and thereby receive recognition from the soul master behind him. If he can become our backer, our domain will far exceed the few surrounding cities. Qin Changsheng slowly nodded. He raised his fingers to the sky, gripping tightly, and said with great spirit, "All my life, I have been cautious, never making wrong choices. This time, I believe I won't be wrong either." As for that so-called Jiang Fan, he can only blame himself for not seeing the bigger picture and blocking the Qin family's path to greatness. He's just a small character. Offending him won't cause any big waves. Su Mansion. After Jiang Fan returned, he immediately shut the door and clenched his fists tightly. "Lu Zheng, I don't believe that I am inferior to you." He opened the pure wind scripture and carefully read it. Perhaps it was because his body had been baptized by the void ancient tree. But this rather esoteric yellow-level high-grade mental method suddenly became much easier for him to understand. A 2-hour period later, his eyes shone with wisdom as he sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. Letting the qi flow through the danchan, focusing the mind and forgetting the self, neither wind nor self. He silently recited the mantra, and the transparent spirit root within his body, like vast root tendrils rooted in nothingness, slowly absorbed the spiritual energy from the air. The stronger the spirit root, the faster the absorption speed. The more advanced the mental method, the faster the absorption speed as well. The combination of both produced a synergistic effect. Soon, strands of invisible spiritual energy gathered from all directions, blending into his danchan and transforming into threads of pure spiritual power. He cultivated tirelessly, losing himself in it. so much so that when dawn broke and a ray of glaring sunlight hit his eyes, he was woken up. He slowly opened his eyes. With a glimmer of anticipation, he jumped off the bed, circulated his dantian, and threw out his fists. Poof, the faint sound of compressed air bursting entered his ears. Second layer of Qi cultivation. In one night I reached the second layer of Qi cultivation. Jiang Fan was overjoyed. It took Su Yining 3 whole days to break through to the first layer of Qi cultivation, didn't it? Though he rejoiced for a long time, he did not become arrogant or complacent. But just reaching the second layer of Qi cultivation is not enough. To protect myself and Su Yoren, I need to become even stronger. Jiang Fan muttered to himself. He tried to continue cultivating, but found that the speed at which he absorbed spiritual energy had slowed significantly. In the Qi cultivation realm, the further you go, the slower the cultivation becomes. You need Qi Cultivation Liquid to assist. But Qi Cultivation Liquid is very expensive, and Qin Changsheng won't sell it to me. He frowned slightly. Suddenly a spark flashed in his mind, and he muttered, "Before my father passed, he asked me to bury the box he had carried with him for 10 years in front of his grave. He cautioned me not to dig it up until the seed had sprouted. Is there any cultivation resource left for me inside? Since his father could leave him such a miraculous seed, there must be extraordinary items inside the mysterious box as well." He got up and opened the door, yet he heard Su Yoren's pleading voice from the neighboring courtyard. "Aunt Wang, these are the resources the clan allocated to me this month. Please don't take them away." Wang Yingfeng, with 2 personal maids, had driven Su Yoren into a corner against the wall. The maids held her hands down, while Wang Yingfeng retrieved a bottle of Qi Cultivation Liquid from her bosom, her face icy as she said, "Don't think I don't know you want to give this to that useless Jiang Fan. You want him to win. Haha, dream on." Bang! Wang Yingfeng ruthlessly smashed the Qi Cultivation Liquid onto the ground, spilling the precious liquid all over, mixing with the soil. Su Yoren anxiously broke free from the 2 maids, threw herself to the ground, and tried to scoop up the mud soaked with the spiritual liquid, hoping to salvage some of it. But the liquid had already mixed with the soil, becoming impossible to separate and thus useless. "Aunt Wang," normally calm, her eyes filled with tears in anger. "Fan is already pitiful enough. Why do you bully him like this? You make it so difficult for him even for a single bottle of Qi Cultivation Liquid." Wang Yingfeng nonchalantly clapped her hands and said, "Who bullied him? The Qi Cultivation Liquid belongs to our Su family. If he has the guts, let him get it himself, relying on a woman to give it to him secretly. Not only do we in the Su mansion look down on him, even the beggars on the street would spit on him. Let's go." She swayed her hips, satisfied, and left. Jiang Fan doesn't even have a bottle of Qi Cultivation Liquid and wants to beat her nephew. Keep dreaming. Su Yoren crouched helplessly on the ground, hugging her knees and sobbing in self-blame. At this moment, a hand rested on her back, gently patting her. Startled, she turned her head to see Jiang Fan, and her self-blame deepened. She collapsed into his arms, crying out, "I'm sorry, Fan, I'm so useless. I should have been more careful, then Aunt Wang wouldn't have discovered it." Jiang Fan gently patted her thin back, his heart full of tenderness. "Silly girl, I should be thanking you. How could I blame you?" Su Yoren's eyes were red, filled with endless self-blame. "But that was the only Qi Cultivation Liquid I could give you. How am I worthy of having such a fiancé?" Jiang Fan became even more gentle. "Wang Yingfeng said one thing that I do agree with. A man who only wins by relying on a woman's help. Not only do outsiders look down on him, but I would look down on myself too. Don't worry, I'll figure out a way to get the Qi Cultivation Liquid myself. Go back and rest, wait for my news." Su Yoren was silent for a long time, then suddenly nodded. "Okay, do your best. No matter the result, I won't blame you." With that, she left the backyard and the Su mansion. She headed toward Cloud Mist Mountain on the outskirts where spirit grass grew abundantly. Unable to bear Jiang Fan's isolation and helplessness, she still wanted to help him as best as she could. Although spirit grass was far less effective than Qi Cultivation Liquid, it was better than nothing. Meanwhile, Jiang Fan also left the Su mansion and came to the cemetery outside the town. "Dad, your unfilial son has come to see you." He knelt in front of the grave, burning many paper offerings and candles, his mind recalling the years spent with his father. His father was silent and taciturn, like to drink. When drunk, he would curse the heavens in rage, as if venting some injustice. When sober, he would gaze at the moon, tears streaming down his face. Regardless of whether he was drunk or sober, his gaze toward Jiang Fan was always gentle. "Dad, I'm going to get married, but not to Su Yining, to the one you liked more, Su Yoren. You once said she was actually more suitable to be my wife, gentle and understanding. Jiang Fan laughed, but tears flowed as he spoke. If you were still alive, you would certainly be grinning from ear to ear, wouldn't you? When we're married, I will surely bring her to meet you. Wiping his tears, Jiang Fan said with a bit of guilt. But I've run into some trouble and need to open the box you left behind. Disturbing your peace, I beg your forgiveness. After kowtowing several times, Jiang Fan picked up a hoe and began digging the earth in front of the gravestone. He dug 3 feet deep before finally uncovering a black wooden box. It hasn't rotted. Jiang Fan lifted it, a look of surprise on his face. Since he could remember, this wooden box had always been this way, neither damaged nor showing any signs of age. Even after being buried underground for 3 years, there were no traces of insects or vermin gnawing at it, nor was it corroded by the damp soil. It seemed the box itself was anything but ordinary. With his heart slightly pounding, he turned the latch of the box, and with a click, this box that his father had guarded for 15 years, never leaving his side, never once opened. Finally, after Jiang Fan's seed sprouted, saw the light of day again. Kriok, as the box opened, some items that caused Jiang Fan's pupils to contract sharply came into view. Those were 2 jade bottles. Quietly lying inside were green spiritual liquids. Mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. It's mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Jiang Fan was overjoyed beyond words. He knew it, his father would definitely leave him some cultivation resources. These 2 bottles of mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid solved his urgent need. He hurriedly picked up the Qi Cultivation Liquid, only to find a letter and a bamboo slip underneath. Seeing the letter, his heart skipped a beat as he trembled while opening it. The handwriting inside was indeed his father's. Fan, when you see this letter, your father would have been dead for 3 years, right? Has your seed sprouted? Have you married Su Yining? Are you healthy and safe? How do you look now? Father really wants to know, but alas, I can no longer see. Father hopes you comply with my instructions in opening the wooden box, as the items inside are useful only when the seed has sprouted. The 2 bottles of mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid are left for you to break through your current realm. But the most important thing is the bamboo slip underneath. Father had mediocre talent and could only grasp a smattering after a lifetime of study, barely becoming a 2-star soul master. I hope my son can surpass me and become a great soul master, thus having the means to protect yourself. Finally, this wooden box was left to you by your mother. She said that when you become a 5-star soul master, you can open the hidden layer of the box. Failing to open the hidden layer is Father's last regret. If you ever get to open it someday, remember to burn a paper and tell me what's inside. Keep going, my son. Your life will have many twists and turns. Never give up no matter what, okay? Droplet after droplet of tears fell onto the letter. Jiang Fan felt as if his father was bidding him a final farewell right in front of him. Father, he clenched his fists, tears streaming down. I will strive to live, definitely, definitely. After a long time, he wiped away his tears. Reverently putting the letter away, his heart surged with emotion. So, Father was once a 2-star soul master. Soul masters were the most prestigious profession in this world, without exception. They possessed extraordinary soul power, capable of performing various wondrous soul techniques and refining pills used by martial artists. Unlike the medicines of ordinary people, the pills needed for cultivation were all made from various aged heavenly materials and earthly treasures. These heavenly materials and earthly treasures grew in deep mountains and old forests over the years, absorbing both spiritual energy and, inevitably, impurities. To remove these impurities, one could only rely on powerful soul power to strip them away. Therefore, a soul master was both a mysterious and unpredictable expert and an irreplaceable alchemist. Lonely Boat City's Chen family became the top medicine refining family because every generation of family heads inherited the Chen family's heirloom, a treasure capable of temporarily enhancing one's soul power. The enhanced level was roughly of soul master apprentice caliber. Even so, this made the Chen family one of the foremost houses in Lonely Boat City, with a stomp of their feet causing the entire city to tremble. The might of a soul master was evident. Jiang Fan, dry-mouthed, unrolled the bamboo slip. If he could learn even a smattering and become a 2-star soul master like his father, wouldn't he be able to control the wind and rain? On the bamboo slip were strange, twisted characters. At a glance, they couldn't even be considered characters. Moreover, looking at them made him dizzy. Taiyin Soul Technique Upper Chapter, authored by 8-star Great Carefree Venerate. Only those with powerful souls can decipher these characters. Others who read it lightly suffer severe headaches. Severely, their souls are destroyed. Practice with caution. Jiang Fan then understood that the characters should not be viewed with his eyes, but recognized with his soul. The fact that he could decipher them indicated that his soul was stronger than the average person's, qualifying him to become a soul master. This delighted Jiang Fan immensely. He hurriedly continued reading until headaches forced him to stop. He quickly sat cross-legged in front of the grave, quietly digesting what he had read. Just like when he practiced the pure wind scripture, he comprehended these contents very quickly. In just half a day, he opened his eyes, gleaming with expectation. "Father, I seem to have learned some ways to use my soul." Looking at the 2 bottles of mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid in front of him, he drank one and tucked the other in his chest. As the potent Qi Cultivation Liquid entered his body, it emitted abundant spiritual energy. Jiang Fan quickly cultivated, greedily absorbing this spiritual energy. Soon after, his body shook. He joyfully opened his eyes. "I've broken through to the 3rd layer of Qi cultivation. Mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid has such an effect. I wonder what the effects of top grade and highest grade would be like." He filled the hole in front of the grave, bowed to his father's tombstone, and then got up to head back to the city. He did not return to the Su family, but instead went to a desolate treasure pavilion. The treasure pavilion was the Chen family's shop, the 2nd medicine-refining family in Lonely Boat City. The Chen family didn't have the Qin family's luck of owning a soul power-enhancing treasure, so they could only refine rough pills, and their business was far from as good as the Qin family's. Jiang Fan, upon arrival, changed into a broad black robe and wore a mask, then walked into the shop. Minding the shop was the treasure pavilion's shopkeeper, lazily lying on a chair, saying, "What would the customer like to buy?" Jiang Fan shook his head, holding a small stone in his mouth to muffle his voice. "Not buying." "Oh," the shopkeeper with an 8-character mustache looked at Jiang Fan in surprise. "Then do you have heavenly materials and earthly treasures to sell?" Some lucky martial artists would sell valuable herbs they discovered to reputable shops, which wasn't unusual. "Not selling either." The shopkeeper frowned. "This is a place for business. If you're not buying or selling, why are you here?" Jiang Fan took out the mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid he had tucked away and placed it on the counter. "For exchange." The shopkeeper frowned, his gaze sweeping over, landing on the mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. He was slightly taken aback at first, his eyes showing unfamiliarity. Then he suddenly jumped from the reclining chair and quickly walked over, exclaiming, Could this be mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? It's been 10 years and I'm seeing mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid again." His tone was somewhat excited, looking at Jiang Fan with reverence, calling out loudly, "Quick, don't just stand there, bring tea for this gentleman." "The best tea!" Jiang Fan was slightly surprised. 10 years. Could it be the Qi Cultivation Liquid refined by his father? He said expressionlessly, "No need for tea, I want to exchange for these materials. How much can your shop provide?" He picked up a pen on the counter and wrote down the materials. "Materials for Qi Cultivation Liquid." The shopkeeper grew even more excited, his tone filled with awe, his posture unconsciously bending. "Could it be that, sir, you are a soul master?" Throughout Lonely Boat City, apart from Xianxia, no one else would need materials for Qi Cultivation Liquid, unless he was a soul master preparing to refine Qi Cultivation Liquid. Jiang Fan's tone turned icy. "Do you want to know?" The shopkeeper was startled, immediately smacking his lips. "Forgive my nosiness, sir. Please pardon me. If this man indeed was a soul master, 10 lives would not be enough to atone for offending him." "Less nonsense, how much can you offer?" Jiang Fan said. The shopkeeper quickly replied, "According to the market price, 1 bottle of mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is 10,000 taels of silver. The materials for Qi Cultivation Liquid cost 1,000 taels of silver per set. You can exchange for 10 sets of materials." His gaze shifted, the shopkeeper rubbed his hands. "But sir, if you have more Qi Cultivation Liquid to sell us, I can decide to give you 11 sets of materials." Jiang Fan paused. 10,000 taels of silver. Low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid was only 5,000 taels per bottle. The price of mid-grade had doubled. But considering its effects were twice as potent as low-grade, it made sense. After a moment's thought, Jiang Fan nodded. "Okay." The shopkeeper was overjoyed, hurriedly fetching 11 sets of materials and presenting them to Jiang Fan, rubbing his hands. "To be honest, sir, tomorrow is the exhibition of medicine-refining families in Lonely Boat City. If you have extra Qi Cultivation Liquid, could you sell it to us at the event to enhance our Chen family's prestige?" Seeing his almost pleading expression, Jiang Fan slightly nodded. I'll try. Then he left the treasure pavilion. After ensuring no one was following, he found an alley to remove his disguise and calmly walked back to the street. Just a few steps later, he heard a sneer. Oh, who is this? Lu Zhang, smiling broadly, rode a horse with Qin Changsheng beside him. They reined in their horses and stopped as they saw Jiang Fan. Glancing at the nearby treasure pavilion, Lu Zhang sneered. Family head of the Qin family, some people are daydreaming, thinking they can buy low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Qin Changsheng glanced at Jiang Fan, indifferent. In Lonely Boat City, besides my Qin family, no other place will have Qi Cultivation Liquid. You went to the treasure pavilion to ask for Qi Cultivation Liquid, but you might have asked the wrong place. Instead of asking them, it's better to ask young Master Lu. Lu Zheng teased. Asking me for Qi Cultivation Liquid is not as good as asking me to let your fiancé go. Haha, he laughed heartily and rode away. Qin Changsheng cast a sidelong glance at Jiang Fan, disdainfully saying, forget about Qi Cultivation Liquid. As long as I'm around, you'll never get a drop of Qi Cultivation Liquid in your lifetime. After saying that, he also galloped away. Jiang Fan shrugged. Low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, even dogs don't want it. Soon, a distinguished person arrived at the treasure pavilion. One by one, the imposing members of the Chen family arrived. The shopkeeper bowed low, trembling with fear. Miss, the matter is just as I said earlier. Among the Chen family members, there was a beautiful young girl with a delicate face, tall stature, and intelligent eyes. She was the eldest daughter of the Chen family, Chen Silin. Did you send someone to investigate his identity? Chen Silin asked sharply. The shopkeeper shivered and quickly said, how dare this old servant? Soul Master's fear being coveted by others most. If we annoy him, wouldn't we bring a catastrophe to the Chen family? Chen Silin's expression softened slightly and she said, very good. You handled it very well. Not only improving relations by offering this Soul Master benefits, but also not showing the slightest disrespect. Next, whether we can associate with this Soul Master depends on his mood. If he could provide us with some mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid at the exhibition, we would gain fame and finally contend with the Qin family. Thinking about how they had been suppressed by the Qin family for centuries, Chen Silin was exceptionally eager for that Soul Master to support the Chen family and change their family's fate. By then, she would be willing to pay any price. As for Jiang Fan, upon returning to the mansion, he heard a commotion inside. Find her, quickly find her. Even if you have to dig 3 feet deep, find Su Yoren. What? Su Yoren was missing. Jiang Fan panicked, and an image of her suddenly leaving in the morning flashed through his mind, conjuring a bad thought. This silly girl, could she have gone to find heavenly materials and earthly treasures for his breakthrough? Now it's almost dark and she's not back yet. Could she be in danger? He hurriedly ran out of the city, heading towards the only place nearby with heavenly materials and earthly treasures, Cloud Mist Mountain. Beauty Sue, stop struggling, or you'll fall and turn into a pile of flesh. At the edge of a cliff, 3 brawny men with bats embroidered on their chests grinned menacingly at Su Yoren, who was clinging tightly to a vine below. Her hands, worn and bloody from clutching the vine for so long, were trembling and pale from exhaustion. Beneath her was a boundless cliff shrouded in rolling clouds, making it impossible to see the bottom. Come up quickly. There's no conflict with us. We just want to capture you and demand that Lu Zheng pay his gambling debt. We swear we won't harm you. But as they spoke, their greedy eyes never left Su Yoren's alluring body. If they caught her, it was easy to imagine what would happen. Su Yoren gritted her teeth and said, dream on. The leader lost patience and ordered, pull her up. He couldn't believe Su Yoren would really let go and fall to her death. The other 2 brawny men immediately started pulling up the vine. Seeing herself being lifted up, Su Yoren felt desolate. Biting her red lips, she murmured, Fan, I'm sorry, I won't be able to marry you in this life. She loosened her hands, ready to jump into the abyss. At that moment, a series of hurried footsteps suddenly approached. Then one of the men pulling the vine was kicked off the cliff, caught completely off guard. His dark figure plummeted into the clouds, screaming, and vanished without a trace. The other 2 men were furious and fought the attacker. Soon, another lay on the ground, screaming. The last man, terrified, yelled, Dare to kill someone from Bloodbat Palace. You're dead, you're dead. As he yelled, he fled. Su Yoren was startled, wondering who had come. Among the 3 men from Bloodbat Palace, one was at the 3rd layer of Qi cultivation, and the other 2 were at the 2nd layer. Suddenly, a head poked out and Su Yoren was stunned. Fan! She couldn't believe it was Fan who had driven off the bad guys. With a stern face, Jiang Fan pulled her up and smacked her bottom hard, shouting, "Who allowed you to come here?" Su Yoren lowered her head in guilt and meekly held up her bloody hand, clutching a vibrant medicinal herb, and said weakly, "I just wanted to help you." Seeing her worn-out hand, still unwilling to let go of the herb, Jiang Fan's heart ached. He hugged her tightly and said, "You are the most important person to me. If you leave me, there will be no one in this world for me to care about." Despite his reproach, Su Yoren felt an unprecedented sweetness, as if tasting honey. Leaning against his broad chest, she felt safer than ever before. Relaxed, she fell into a deep, exhausted sleep. Jiang Fan didn't have the heart to wake her. Looking at the Bloodbat Palace corpses on the ground, he had an idea and searched them. Soon he found a token and couldn't help but rejoice. Bloodbat Palace token. The City Lord's mansion issued a reward decree. Killing someone from Bloodbat Palace grants a chance to cultivate in the spirit pond of the City Lord's mansion. Many people have made breakthroughs there. He put the token away and surveyed the surroundings. It was pitch dark, making it impossible to see the way down the mountain. He could only find a safe cave and spent the night there with Su Yoren. While guarding her, Jiang Fan didn't stay idle. He took out the materials from the treasure pavilion and attempted to refine Qi Cultivation Liquid. At dawn the next day, Jiang Fan looked at a pile of ashes on the ground, distressed. "I wasted 3 sets of materials." But his eyes shifted to the 8 bottles of spiritual liquid beside him. 7 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and 1 bottle of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. "It seems I'm more talented than my father. I can already refine top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, and in the best condition, even top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Once I become proficient, the success rate for top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid will be higher." He eagerly picked up the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and drank it. The potent medicinal power released spiritual energy 10 times that of low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, swelling Jiang Fan's body like a balloon. He quickly sat cross-legged to cultivate, rapidly absorbing the spiritual energy. 1 2-hour period later. 4th layer of Qi cultivation, and I'm not far from the 5th layer. Jiang Fan was secretly amazed. Su Yining took 10 days to advance from the 3rd layer to the 4th layer of Qi cultivation, drinking low-grade Qi cultivation liquid daily. He succeeded with just 1 bottle of top-grade Qi cultivation liquid. The effect of top-grade Qi cultivation liquid was unbelievably powerful. Feeling the strength of the 4th layer of Qi cultivation, he couldn't help but look at Su Yoren's beautiful sleeping face, smiling slightly. "Yoren, this time I protected you," Su Mansion. Lu Zheng was sweating profusely, his face somewhat unsightly. He stared at the 10 empty Qi cultivation liquid bottles in front of him, saying, "Why is it like this? I drank them all. Why haven't I broken through?" Wang Yingfeng beside him was also puzzled. It shouldn't be. With a 9th-grade spiritual root and 10 bottles of low-grade Qi cultivation liquid, even a pig should have broken through. But Lu Zheng showed no sign of progress. She had to comfort him. "Zhenger, haste makes waste. Perhaps your anxiety to break through has affected your state of mind. After all, you haven't lost. Jiang Fan, that loser, has neither a spirit root nor Qi cultivation liquid and is even less likely to break through. So you two are only even." Hearing this, Lu Zheng sighed in relief. He sneered, "Does he deserve to compete with me? My lack of breakthrough is only temporary, but he will never break through in his life. Let's go to the main hall and determine the victor." Su Mansion, Jiang Fan and Su Yoren returned, stepping in the morning light. "Fan!" Su Yoren looked at the gate of the Su family but hesitated to step inside, because this was a duel destined for defeat. The result would be that she had to marry Lu Zheng. Looking at Jiang Fan in front of her, a heavy feeling surged in her heart as she bit her lip and said, "It doesn't matter if you lose. Don't blame yourself. I won't blame you, understand?" During these days of being together, she had already regarded Jiang Fan as her husband. If he really lost, she would never marry Lu Zheng. At worst, she would die once more. Feeling her mood, Jiang Fan held her hand and calmly said, "I said I would protect you. Now and forever it will always be so." With that said, he led her by the hand and stepped into the gate of the Su Mansion. After 10 years of living under others' roof, today he would soar to the skies. Jiang Fan had never been more eager to face the eyes of the Su family. He wanted to prove himself. He was not a wastrel. He, Jiang Fan, was worthy of Su Yoren. Their return caused a stir among the entire clan. Su Zhengyan hurried over with others, chastising angrily. "Su Yoren, where the hell have you been? Do you want to scare us to death?" Facing her father's anger, Su Yoren's expression darkened, and she said, "Father, are you worried about my safety, or are you worried you can't fulfill Lu Zheng's wish and the family will lose a backing?" "If it's the former, father need not worry. The Su family would be the same with or without me. Having my sister is enough." Su Zhengyan, full of anger, found himself speechless. The existence of Su Yining had always made Su Yoren feel neglected and secretly bullied by Wang Yingfeng. He said grudgingly, "All right, it's good you're back." Noticing that Jiang Fan was still holding her hand, he frowned slightly and asked, "Jiang Fan, how has your cultivation been lately?" Jiang Fan calmly wrote 2 words, "Not bad, not bad." Su Zhengyan was surprised. Could it be that someone without a spirit root had indeed made some progress? However, considering that even Lu Zheng with a 9-grade spirit root hadn't broken through in 3 days, Jiang Fan was even less likely to succeed. "Follow me. The clan members are already waiting in the hall." He led Jiang Fan and Su Yoren to the main hall of the Su family. Dozens of Su family members, both young and old, from the direct and collateral lines, were all present. Some young Su family girls dressed in bright colors were laughing and chatting around Lu Zheng, hoping to catch his favor. Su Yining also had a smile on her face and occasionally spoke with Lu Zheng. When she saw Jiang Fan return, her smile disappeared and she said coldly, "I thought you wouldn't dare to come. At least you still have some manliness left." Clan members glanced over, inevitably comparing Lu Zheng and Jiang Fan. Some of the more acerbic ones even directly uttered harsh words. "I really don't understand where he got the courage to duel with Lu Zheng. He has eaten the Su family's food for 10 years and still doesn't understand his status, thinking he can compete with Big Brother Lu. If I were him, I wouldn't wait for Big Brother Lu to say anything. I would offer Su Yoren myself to at least save face." Jiang Fan's face showed no expression. In 10 years, he had heard too many cold remarks and was already numb to them. He didn't waste any words, stood in the middle of the hall with a straight posture and wrote confidently, "When do we start?" His confident aura made everyone's expressions change slightly. Su Yining looked at him with a mix of surprise and curiosity, unable to help but evaluate him from head to toe. Today's Jiang Fan gave her an indescribable feeling, as if a confidence from deep within his bones was radiating outward. Could he be confident in winning today's duel? But how could that be possible? Shaking her head lightly, she said, "The result of this duel was decided long ago. Does it matter when it begins?" The female clan members who supported Lu Zheng rolled their eyes. "He acts like he's the one with a 9-grade spirit root. It's just the last shred of dignity since he's about to lose his wife. I can't wait to see him break down and cry." "Ha ha," Wang Yingfeng lightly tapped her teacup and leisurely began, "Jiang Fan." Everyone quieted down to listen to the matriarch speak. "Do you remember the bet of this duel? If you can't match Lu Zheng, then it's unfortunate, but Su Yoren will have to marry Lu Zheng." Jiang Fan looked at her coldly and wrote, "If Lu Zheng loses, I also expect you to keep your nephew in check and stop him from thinking a toad can eat swan meat." Bang. Wang Yingfeng slammed the teacup onto the table, her phoenix eyes filled with anger. A mere dependent dared to speak to her like that? She snorted coldly. If Zheng loses, he naturally would not have the face to ask Su Yoren to marry him. "If you lose, you will leave the Su mansion for good. The Su family will no longer owe you." Jiang Fan, with his hands behind his back, confidently wrote, "Good. Let's have a clear winner then." Wang Yingfeng simmered with anger and said, "Zheng, go ahead. Use your full strength. Even if you don't break through, as long as you've progressed, it's a win. After all, it's impossible for Jiang Fan to break through." Lu Zheng confidently stepped into the center of the hall, facing Jiang Fan from a distance. The disdain on his face was almost palpable. "Competing against someone with a 9-grade spirit root, your family ancestors would be proud." He sneered, raised his fists, and swung them fiercely through the air. Bam, it sounded like firecrackers exploding, with the cultivation of 5th-layer perfection making the air tremble. Su Yining couldn't help but be amazed. No breakthrough. That shouldn't be. With 10 bottles of Qi Cultivation Liquid, even someone like her with a 6th-grade spirit root would have broken through. The clan members exchanged puzzled looks. This outcome was unexpected. A 9-grade spirit root didn't seem as powerful as they thought. The scene became awkward. Wang Yingfeng smoothed things over, saying, "The path of cultivation is tough with every step. Advancing to the 5th-layer perfection in just 3 days is already impressive." The clan members, though finding it strange, didn't think much of it. The female relatives who were fawning over Lu Zheng spoke in agreement. "The matriarch is right. Anyone else would probably remain stagnant. Yes, no matter what, it's still better than a waste without a spirit root. Advancing to perfection is already remarkable and has secured an undefeated position. Hearing this, Lu Zhang puffed up his chest with pride and smirked. What say you, Jiang Fan? Although I didn't break through, I at least progressed. You still lose. He couldn't help but look fervently at Su Yoren. In his mind, he already pictured a scene of dominating her. Jiang Fan smiled as he wrote, 9-grade spirit root, supported wholeheartedly by Qin Changsheng, and this is it. His words grated on Wang Yingfeng's ears, and she impatiently pounded the table. The celestial dragon above, and a mere worm on the ground, what right do you have to mock? Celestial dragon. Jiang Fan's smile widened as he raised his fist and violently swung it through the air. A pure strand of spiritual energy shattered the atmosphere, and shattered everyone's expectations. Qi Cultivation First Layer, it's the Qi Cultivation First Layer. Fan, you broke through. Su Yoren's somber face lit up like a springtime meadow in full bloom. She covered her mouth, whispering in disbelief with joy. Su Yining's eyes widened, murmuring incredulously, he has a spirit root. The women who supported Lu Zhang were also stunned. Lu Zhang himself widened his eyes, unable to believe what he was seeing. The trash he never respected had broken through to the Qi Cultivation First Layer and won against him. How is that possible? He couldn't accept it. He, a prodigy of the 9-grade spiritual root, had lost to a piece of trash. Jiang Fan smiled, picked up a pen, and wrote a sentence. If the ancestors of the Jiang family knew that I defeated a 9-grade spiritual root, they would be even more honored. Earlier, Lu Zhang's mockery felt like a slap on his face. It made him clench his fists, angered uncontrollably. Wang Yingfeng also felt humiliated and said coldly, it's just the Qi Cultivation First Layer. Look at you getting all smug. Is there any comparison between breaking through the Qi Cultivation First Layer and the 6th layer? The latter is 5 times more difficult than the former. The women supporting Lu Zhang immediately started mocking. Exactly, if you have a spirit root, even a dog can break through. Achieving Qi Cultivation 5th layer perfection in 3 days is much harder than the 1st layer. Don't know where he gets the nerve to be proud. Jiang Fan just smiled. He raised his hand and threw another punch, causing a mild popping sound in the air. He picked up the pen and smiled faintly. So what next? Su Yoren was so shocked that she couldn't close her mouth. Qi Cultivation 2nd layer. Fan, you broke through to the Qi Cultivation 2nd layer in just 3 days. This time, Su Yining couldn't stay seated. Her pretty face showed a look of surprise. I couldn't break through the Qi Cultivation 2nd layer in 3 days. Jiang Fan, did you really have no spirit root before? But she quickly realized she had asked a pointless question. Jiang Fan had gone to the detection tower 3 times under the Su family's watchful eye. If he had a spirit root before, it couldn't have been hidden. The women supporting Lu Zhang felt like they'd been slapped in the face and couldn't say anything. Lu Zhang's pupils trembled, his eyes full of anger. Breaking through 1 layer had already beaten him. Breaking through to the Qi Cultivation 2nd layer would completely crush him. Wang Yingfeng was also shocked, but she still argued stubbornly. The Qi Cultivation 2nd layer isn't hard, it just barely catches up to Lu Zhang's progress. However, as soon as these words were uttered, Jiang Fan threw another punch toward the air. The crisp popping sound was like a harsh slap to everyone's face. And then, Jiang Fan coldly smiled and picked up the pen to ask. Whoosh, Su Yining stood up in shock, knocking over the chair but not even realizing it. Her pretty face showed intense surprise. The Qi Cultivation 3rd layer. Impossible, it's impossible to break through to the Qi Cultivation 3rd layer in 3 days, not even with a 9-grade spiritual root. Jiang Fan, what exactly is going on with you? The women who initially wanted to defend Lu Zhang were completely stunned. They had been cultivating for several years and barely reached the Qi Cultivation 3rd layer. But Jiang Fan, it only took him 3 days. Lu Zhang and Wang Yingfeng's faces were also filled with intense shock as they stared at Jiang Fan in disbelief. 3 days, and he achieved the Qi Cultivation 3rd layer. This was not merely a victory over Lu Zhang, but completely crushed him. The entire place fell silent, and everyone looked at the boy who had been considered trash for 10 years with a newfound respect. Jiang Fan carried himself with one hand behind his back, holding a pen with the other. So what if he's a true dragon or has a 9-grade spiritual root? Give me time, and I'll crush them all underfoot. Having spoken, he publicly embraced Su Yoren and stated with a flourish, Yoren is my wife and no one will take her from me. His words were firm and resonated deeply. Lu Zhang felt humiliated and roared, Jiang, what are you so proud of? Don't be afraid to tell you, the people from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion are already on their way. When they arrive, I'll join the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion directly, and you. Just a bug at the Qi Cultivation third layer. Compete with me? You don't deserve it. Having said this, he stormed off. Jiang Fan shrugged. He always doubted Lu Zheng's 9-grade spiritual root. He himself had a transparent spirit root, but reached the Qi Cultivation 4th layer in 3 days. There was no reason a 9-grade spiritual root couldn't break through even one level. When the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion people arrived, they would surely verify Lu Zheng's spirit root, right? At that time, would he really still be detected as having a 9-grade spiritual root? Wang Yingfeng also felt humiliated today. The nephew she fully supported wasn't even as good as a piece of trash. She glared at Jiang Fan, angrily saying, "Fine, you have a spirit root, you're not trash, you're amazing, right? Originally, I didn't ask for a dowry to marry off Yoren because I felt sorry for you. But since you're so capable, prepare a generous dowry for me in 10 days. If you can't come up with it, don't blame me for breaking the engagement and marrying Su Yoren off to someone else." HMPH, she pounded the table and left in anger. Su Yoren, who had just been happy, now had a worried look on her face and sighed. "Fan, I'm afraid those pieces of broken silver I have won't be enough. If Aunt Wang is deliberately making things difficult for you, no matter how much you bring, she'll find fault with it." If it had been before, Jiang Fan might also have been troubled. But now he wouldn't be. Because he was a soul master who could refine expensive pills. He suddenly remembered that he had promised the shopkeeper of the treasure pavilion to participate in the exhibition in Lonely Boat City yesterday. He had just refined a batch of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. It should fetch a good price, right? "Yoren, I'm going to cultivate. Don't go out randomly, understand?" Jiang Fan instructed with a pen. Su Yoren obediently nodded. Yes, go ahead, I won't cause you any more trouble." She looked comforted, gazing at Jiang Fan's hurried back, her eyes full of hope. With such a hardworking and motivated husband, how could their future not be bright? "Sister, you missed out on your true soulmate." Su Yining walked up to her, regretting. Breaking through the Qi Cultivation 3rd layer in 3 days is nothing compared to the 9-grade spiritual root. In the future, with Lu Zheng, Jiang Fan won't even have the right to look up at him. However, Su Yoren looked at Jiang Fan's back, feeling content. "What does Lu Zheng's strength have to do with me? It's Jiang Fan who is worth entrusting my heart to." "Is that so?" Su Yining glanced at Su Yoren. Seeing her face filled with happiness and expectation, she felt somewhat irritated. Was Jiang Fan really that good? In front of the City Lord Mansion, the wide streets were lined with stalls. Today was the city-wide Medicine Refining Families exhibition, where medicine refining practitioners of all sizes would come to showcase their best products. Many local martial artists and foreign merchants would attend the exhibition. Through comparison, they would choose better drugs for personal use or to sell elsewhere. For small medicine refining families, this was an excellent opportunity to showcase themselves. For top-level medicine refining families like the Chen family, it was also a challenge. Sure enough, the Chen family head, Qin Changsheng, was displaying the Su family's best-selling product, low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, on a very spacious platform. The crowd gathered like mountains and seas. Opposite, the similarly spacious Chen family platform was deserted and desolate. The stark contrast made Chen Silin uneasy, murmuring, "Will that senior really come?" The shopkeeper accompanied them, smiling bitterly. Soul masters mostly have aloof personalities and prefer to be solitary. Whether he comes or not depends entirely on his mood. He was also very anxious. If that soul master came, the Chen family, with the mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, would undoubtedly shine and overwhelm the Qin family. But if he didn't come, this exhibition would turn into a solo show for the Qin family, making it increasingly difficult for the Chen family in the coming year. What made them even more uneasy was that the treasure of the Qin family seemed to have stimulated stronger abilities. It was said that Qin Changsheng had already successfully refined a bottle of mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Although the production efficiency was only 1%, it would cause a great sensation if it got out. The only way out for the Chen family was to cling to that soul master. At this moment, Jiang Fan approached the center of the two families' exhibition stands. He glanced at Qin Changsheng, who was vividly explaining the low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Qin Changsheng also noticed him, curling his lips contemptuously. "Everyone recognizes that young boy below, right?" he joked. "Jiang Fan, the future son-in-law of the Su family, recklessly competing with young Master Lu, being banned by me from purchasing low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. He went mad, desperately seeking a bottle of low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, visiting the Chen family's treasure pavilion for medicine to no avail. By now, he must have lost the competition and been kicked out by the Su mansion. A single bottle of Qi Cultivation Liquid made him lose his wife. You all wouldn't want to end up like this, right? So, whoever can buy it quickly. When the qualification to purchase is gone, even if you want to buy, you won't be able to. This impromptu advertisement immediately caused the observing martial artists to flock over. In just a short while, several hundred bottles were sold. Xianxia was so happy he couldn't close his mouth, sarcastically saying, "Young Master Jiang, your negative example is more effective than 100 or even 1,000 words from me. Why don't you come to my Qin family and stand by the shop entrance every day, telling the story of how you lost your wife over a bottle of low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid to boost our sales?" Listening to these mocking words, Jiang Fan smirked intriguingly and wrote, "Qin family head, you are laughing too early." Xianxia burst into laughter. "You're right. I still have even better news to announce. The real laughter is yet to come." Jiang Fan's smile deepened as he wrote, "I hope you can still laugh in the end." Finished, he turned and entered the alley. Xianxia sneered contemptuously. "What a thing, thinking it can watch my Qin family as a laughing stock. Doesn't even recognize whom we've hitched our wagon to. That's a 9-grade spiritual root, a future great power." Little did he know. Soon after, a mysterious figure clad in a thick robe and wearing a mask walked out of the alley. This person would become a nightmare for him and the entire Qin family. Jiang Fan climbed the steps up to the Chen family's exhibit stand. Chen Silin was pacing back and forth, frowning slightly as she glimpsed a shadowy figure. "Who are you?" The shopkeeper also looked over and immediately recognized the attire with a single glance, his heart pounding wildly as he stuttered. Eldest miss, it's him, it's him." Chen Silin's heart trembled slightly, quickly stepping forward and bowing. "Siling pays respects to Senior." The shopkeeper hurriedly introduced. "Senior, this is my Chen family's eldest miss, who oversees family affairs on behalf of her father." Jiang Fan was unconcerned about the Chen family's affairs. He still spoke in a vague voice. "How much Qi Cultivation Liquid can you take?" Chen Silin hid her joy. This soul master truly wanted to cooperate with the Chen family. Her eyes turned slightly. "My Chen family has prepared 10,000 taels of silver. According to market price, we can take 10 bottles of mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid." Upon hearing this, Jiang Fan frowned. He currently had no mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, only top grade. Chen Silin, not hearing a response for a long while, mistakenly thought that the money she had prepared was not enough. Causing the other side's displeasure, quickly said, "Senior may not know, our Chen family is purchasing your Qi Cultivation Liquid for 10,000 taels of silver a bottle. The price is absolutely fair." The Qin family across has already created mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. In future competition, the selling price will definitely be lower than 10,000 taels of silver. "Our Chen family is taking a loss to earn a reputation," Jiang Fan said flatly. "I do not sell mid-grade." Huh. Chen Silin glanced at the shopkeeper, meaning to ask whether he hadn't explained everything clearly to the soul master. If it isn't mid-grade, do they want to buy low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? Low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid wouldn't be enough to make a name for the Chen family. The shopkeeper was also sweating anxiously. He had clearly said that he invited this soul master to sell mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid on the spot. At this moment, Jiang Fan silently took out a bottle, placed it on his palm, and said, "I only sell this." Chen Silin and the shopkeeper both looked over. While Chen Silin was able to keep her composure, her pupils also shrank drastically. Refining mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and refining top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid were two different concepts. The former could be done by a first-grade soul master. The latter required at least a second-grade soul master, and the Green Cloud sect had only one second-grade soul master. Just what kind of great figure had she encountered? The shopkeeper directly exclaimed, "Top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid." "Senior, you want to sell us this?" Jiang Fan questioned. "Do you not want to purchase it?" The shopkeeper quickly replied, No, we want it, of course." This was top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. No less in Lonely Boat City, it was a top-level spiritual medicine that had never appeared even in the surrounding cities. With it, the Chen family could entirely establish their name, seize the majority of the Qin family's market share, and leap to become the first medicine-refining family in Lonely Boat City. As for the Qin family's mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, it was simply insignificant in front of top grade. However, the shopkeeper became worried again. "Senior, how much do you want to sell it for?" Each bottle of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid was worth a fortune. It was whispered that in a distant place, it was worth 50,000 taels of silver per bottle. If this soul master demanded exorbitantly, their Chen family might not be able to purchase in large quantities. 10,000 taels, Jiang Fan said flatly. Huh. Chen Silin's eyes flickered with some doubts, hinting deeply, "Senior mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is worth 10,000 taels of silver." She couldn't help but wonder if Jiang Fan had other motives. Until Jiang Fan took out 3 more bottles, placed them in front of him, and calmly said, "I have only one request. Bring down the Qin family. Can you do that?" Chen Silin suddenly understood. No wonder he was selling at this low price. It turned out this senior had a grudge against the Qin family. But the Qin family, did they eat the wrong medicine? How did they provoke a second-grade soul master? She immediately made the decision. If senior can supply top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid at such a low price for a long time, what's so hard about bringing down the Qin family? Jiang Fan glanced at the laughing and jubilant Qin Changsheng across. "Good, give me the materials for Qi Cultivation Liquid. I'll immediately mass-produce top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid for you." Chen Silin immediately ordered someone to prepare the materials and the refining site. It was noon, the exhibition was at its peak. Suddenly, Qin Changsheng laughed loudly. "Everyone, I have a great piece of news to share. Our Qin family has successfully developed mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid priced at 13,000 taels of silver." The crowd erupted into cheers. Despite being above market price, mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid was something that had a price but no market. Being able to buy it was already a stroke of luck. A higher price was entirely acceptable. Watching the surging crowd, Qin Changsheng laughed heartily. Since aligning with Lu Zheng, the Qin family had been on a roll. "Everyone, my Chen family also has good news to announce." What surprised Qin Changsheng was seeing Chen Silin across the way, holding a tray with a red cloth on top, smiling lightly. Qin Changsheng frowned. This girl putting on airs. "However, to go against my Qin family, you need real skills." Before the words had even faded, Chen Silin's lips curled slightly, and she said straightforwardly, "Our Chen family will begin offering limited quantities of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid starting today." Then she lifted the red cloth off the tray. A bottle of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid was prominently displayed. The crowd immediately erupted into a deafening uproar. "Top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, it's really top-grade. One bottle is as effective as 5 bottles of low-grade. This is the top-level spiritual medicine that only disciples of the Green Cloud sect can enjoy, and it's being sold here in Lonely Boat City. The Chen family is defying the heavens." Qin Changsheng's pupils dilated in shock. Where did the Chen family get top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? This was even more fatal than the mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid that had emerged 10 years ago. But he couldn't understand where the Chen family had suddenly obtained top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid overnight. He panicked a little, watching his customers rush towards the other booth, and yelled urgently, "Everyone, calm down. Top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is worth at least 50,000 taels of silver. Are you sure you can afford it?" This caused many warriors, carried away by excitement, to hesitate, showing embarrassed expressions. Indeed, how precious is top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? Ordinary people can't afford it. It's better to buy low-grade and mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid honestly. However, Chen Silin's lips curved and she said, "To thank new and old customers for their years of support to the Chen family. We announce that for a limited time of 1 month, the price of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is 12,000 taels of silver." She had calculated carefully. 12,000 taels, of which 10,000 went to the senior, 1,000 was material cost. The Chen family only earned a meager 1,000 taels of silver. But even though the profit was small, it was enough to crush the Qin family. What, only 12,000 for top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? This price is lower than the Qin family's 13,000 tael mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Only a fool wouldn't buy it. I'll buy it. I want one too. Qin family head, I no longer want the low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid I just bought from you. Please refund me. Refund. Hurry up and refund. The crowd exploded in an instant, with some surging towards the Chen family's booth, throwing 10,000 tael silver notes. And another wave rushed to the Qin family's booth, demanding massive returns. The chaotic scene lasted until dusk. Qin Changsheng, looking at the low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid piled up in front of his booth, his eyes bloodshot, said, "Why is this happening?" Why, he couldn't understand where the Chen family had come up with top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid at such a low price. As if deliberately targeting the Qin family. Grinding his teeth, he muttered, "Chen Silin, no matter who you're backed by, you are too inexperienced to think you can crush my Qin family." He stood up, snorted, and said, "I've helped Lu Zheng so much, it's time he invites his Tao Guardian to assist our Qin family." At the Chen family's backstage in a temporary tent, Jiang Fan took a sip of tea to moisten his throat. By the end of the day, he had produced 50 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and 10 bottles of top-level Qi Cultivation Liquid. He kept the top-level Qi Cultivation Liquid for himself. He sold the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid to the Chen family for 50,000 taels of silver. At this moment, Chen Silin gracefully approached with silver notes in her hand, carrying a faint fragrance, and said, "Senior, here are your 50,000 taels of silver notes." Jiang Fan accepted them expressionlessly, tucked them into his robe, and said, "Tomorrow, I will make another batch of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Just prepare the silver and materials for the exchange." He stood up, ready to leave. "Please wait, Senior." Chen Silin's eyes sparkled with intelligence and said, "Top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is enough to topple half of the Qin family's power, but they still have low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, which allows them to continue struggling." Jiang Fan thought briefly and understood. The number of martial artists who could afford top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid was ultimately small. Most martial artists still preferred to buy low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. The Qin family spared no effort in suppressing his family for Lu Zheng's sake. He had to settle this score. "Senior, can you make some low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid?" Chen Silin asked tentatively. Jiang Fan stared into the distance. Low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid could be made, but the demand was huge. Even working day and night might not meet the market demand. His main focus should be on cultivation. Spending so much time to deal with the Qin family was clearly not worth it. Could he possibly train a few soul master apprentices? Chen Silin's expression became slightly unnatural, because the direction of Jiang Fan's gaze was her rounded bosom. "Senior, what do you think?" Chen Silin calmly covered her chest and asked. Jiang Fan came back to his senses and said, "Sorry, I was considering whether to train a few soul master apprentices specifically to make low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. But this matter shouldn't be rushed. Selecting the right people is a big hassle. Let's discuss it when we have more time." He looked at the sky and took his leave. Chen Silin's heart fluttered, training soul master apprentices. You should know, Qin Changsheng, with the help of his family treasure, was only at the level of a soul master apprentice. If the Chen family had soul master apprentices, they would never worry again. However, just as Jiang Fan had piqued her interest, he set the matter aside. Recollecting Jiang Fan's earlier stare at her chest, Chen Silin evidently misunderstood something, biting her luscious red lips and sighing softly. "He is hinting at me, isn't he? Indeed, all men in the world are the same." After pondering for a while, she said, "Take out the delusion-breaking crystal. When he comes to the mansion tomorrow, I want to see his true face." The delusion-breaking crystal was the Chen family's heirloom treasure, capable of seeing through disguises. Before deciding whether or not to sacrifice herself, she at least had to know what this soul master really looked like. Although most soul masters were of advanced age and looked very old. Thinking of this, she couldn't help feeling depressed, wanting to find someone to vent. "I heard Yoren got engaged," she said. "I've been busy with the exhibition these days and haven't had the chance to congratulate her. Shopkeeper, go to the Su mansion tomorrow and invite her to my mansion as a guest." The shopkeeper nodded slightly. Chen Silin pondered a bit, then added, "And have her bring her fiancé along. She is so beautiful, admired by countless talented men. This engagement must have been to an extremely outstanding noble family's son, right? Let her bring him over too. I also want to see which family's son has won her, the Pearl of Lonely Boat City." Chen Silin and Su Yoren were once classmates and good friends. Although their statuses were vastly different, their temperaments were quite similar, making them very compatible. Upon hearing this, the shopkeeper smiled wryly and said, "Miss, you will probably be disappointed. Her fiancé is Jiang Fan." Chen Silin was stunned. "That Jiang Fan who has been living at the Su family? Isn't he mute and without a spirit root? Are you sure it's him?" The shopkeeper looked regretful and said, "Absolutely certain, it's already widely known in Lonely Boat City." Chen Silin was shocked. "Has Su Yoren gone mad, marrying him? Isn't this like a flower planted in cow dung?" No, I must persuade her to give up this marriage. And also convince Jiang Fan. He has hands and feet. Why does he need to rely on a woman for a living? A man should be independent, shouldn't he? Jiang Fan left the exhibition. He did not hurry back to the Su mansion. He came to the gate of the City Lord mansion nearby and took out the token he had found on a member of the Blood Bat Palace. Seeing the token, the guard captain saluted in reverence. So young and you're able to kill someone from the Blood Bat Palace, a true hero. The Blood Bat Palace was an evil organization entrenched within the Green Cloud sect's territory. They committed all sorts of atrocities, burning, killing, looting. They had many branches, and despite many attempts by the Green Cloud sect to purge them, they could not be completely eradicated. Reluctantly, the Green Cloud sect ordered every City Lord mansion to issue bounties for extermination tasks. However, most martial artists dared not provoke the Blood Bat Palace, and few could complete these tasks. You are entitled to cultivate in the Misty Spirit Pond once. Follow me. Under his guidance, Jiang Fan arrived at a corner of the City Lord mansion. There were two secret chambers standing side by side. Beneath these chambers was the Misty Spirit Pond, continuously emanating dense spiritual energy. When he arrived, there was already a woman in purple standing in front of the chambers. She was very tall, almost as tall as Jiang Fan, with round and straight legs. Her waist was slender and her back was lean. She looked like an ink painting. Upon hearing someone approach from behind, she turned around. Her breathtakingly beautiful face seemed to stun even time itself. Her long dark eyebrows, cool eyes, bright red lips, and delicate contours. An icy demeanor that kept others at a distance. She looked like a fairy who had walked out of a painting. She merely glanced at Jiang Fan and immediately saw through his cultivation, saying calmly, "Qi Cultivation 4th Layer Perfection, you're late." With that, she chose one of the chambers and went inside to cultivate. Jiang Fan was stunned. Late? What did that mean? The guard captain sighed and said, "So you have already reached Qi Cultivation 4th Layer Perfection, then you are indeed late. The Misty Spirit Pond has been open for more than 3 years, and many martial artists have used it. The spiritual energy in the pond is not as abundant as it used to be. Only martial artists at the Qi Cultivation 1st or 2nd layer have a chance to break through. After all, martial artists at the Qi Cultivation 1st or 2nd layer require much less spiritual energy to break through than those at higher tiers. Now, for anyone above the 4th layer to break through, their spirit root must be exceptionally good, or they must have a high-tier mental method," the guard captain added. But looking at Jiang Fan's attire, he didn't seem to be from a prestigious family that could possess an excellent mental method. He sighed silently. "Since you're here, you might as well give it a try. You can only cultivate for 1 2-hour period. Make the most of it." Superior spirit root and high-tier mental method. Jiang Fan nodded slightly and entered the other secret chamber. The guard captain stayed outside to wait. Before long, an imposing middle-aged man hurried over. It was Yi Jiafeng, the top expert in Lonely Boat City, who had also been present at the detection tower. "Fairy Liu went in," the guard captain responded respectfully. "She is already cultivating." Yi Jiafeng let out a light breath. "The daughter of the Green Cloud sect master, we must not neglect her. Wait here for Fairy Liu to come out. Notify me immediately if she does." Suddenly, Yi Jiafeng noticed someone else in the other chamber and frowned. "Who is in there?" the guard captain replied. "A nameless young man who killed a member of the Blood Bat Palace." Hearing this, Yi Jiafeng reprimanded. "Couldn't we wait until Fairy Liu finished her cultivation before letting him in?" The guard captain hesitated. "Shall we ask him to come out?" Looking at the two adjacent chambers, Yi Jiafeng pondered. "Forget it, a nameless young man with low cultivation level won't affect Fairy Liu's cultivation. Wait here." With that, he turned to arrange the welcome ceremony. Jiang Fan was already in a state of immersive cultivation. His transparent spirit root was like the roots of a giant tree, greedily absorbing the surrounding spiritual energy. At the same time, the yellow-level high mental method, the pure wind scripture, also started to circulate, accelerating the absorption by the spirit root. The combined effect was that the spiritual energy in the area seemed summoned and swarmed toward Jiang Fan. The woman in the purple dress was in a state of meditation next door. Suddenly, she was startled. Feeling the direction of the spiritual energy flow, a hint of confusion crossed her cold face. "What's happening? I am practicing the highest mental method of my sect, and my spirit root is of 7th grade. When we cultivate simultaneously, the spiritual energy should flow towards me." She restarted her mental method, attempting to draw back the spiritual energy. However, the spiritual energy in her chamber not only failed to stay but also dissipated faster. A trace of astonishment appeared on her face. Could his spirit root be far superior to mine? She decided to stop cultivating. After all, the spiritual energy here had little effect on her realm. She stepped outside the chamber and felt the situation inside Jiang Fan's chamber through the gap in the door. In her perception, streams of astonishing spiritual energy were being devoured, as if there was a black hole inside, absorbing all the spiritual energy. Absorbing spiritual energy so quickly? She couldn't help but be moved. Suddenly a thought struck her. Could he be the one with the 9th grade spirit root detected in Lonely Boat City? She stared intently at the stone door, her eyes filled with a sense of competition. This time she had secretly run away from her father, for no other reason. As the proud daughter, she wanted to see for herself what was so exceptional about this 9th grade spirit root that had shocked the world. At that moment, a muffled sound came from the chamber, and a fluctuation of the Qi Cultivation 5th layer slowly emerged. The guard captain's pupils contracted as he whispered, He broke through." The spiritual energy here was very thin, only enough for low-tier martial artists to break through. Yet Jiang Fan had succeeded. The cold face of the woman in the purple dress also showed a trace of surprise, and she involuntarily clenched her fists. No wonder he has the 9th grade spirit root. He's exceptional. For an ordinary Qi Cultivation 4th layer perfection martial artist, it was impossible to break through successfully with such thin spiritual energy. But with my spirit root and cultivation technique, I could barely do it too. The 9th grade spirit root doesn't seem that much stronger than mine. However, after a time of a cup of tea, a slight explosion came again from the chamber. Another strong fluctuation of the Qi Cultivation 6th layer swept out, lifting the dust on the floor. The beautiful face of the woman in the purple dress finally showed surprise. In the time of a cup of tea, he broke through from Qi Cultivation 5th layer to Qi Cultivation 6th layer, she asked herself, and knew she couldn't do it even with all her might. A hint of bitterness appeared at the corner of her mouth. Is this the difference between the 9th grade spirit root and the 7th grade spirit root? The guard captain also gasped. He broke through 2 realms in a row. Hiss. The power of the 9th grade spirit root is beyond our imagination. The woman in the purple dress still had her last bit of stubbornness left. But this is the end for him too. The barrier between the 6th and 7th layer is a great chasm. It took me 10 days to break through it back then. The 9th grade is stronger than the 7th grade, but only slightly. She breathed a sigh of relief, feeling much lighter. The guard captain, however, felt awkward. 10 days with the woman in the purple dress enjoying the top-level resources of the entire Green Cloud sect. For ordinary people, crossing this chasm could take several years, even half a lifetime. As time ticked away, there was no more movement from the chamber, seemingly confirming the woman's words. Seeing that the time was almost up, the guard captain stepped forward to knock on the door, ready to remind Jiang Fan. But suddenly, an even more powerful airflow swept out from the chamber. The guard captain almost couldn't stand still, exclaiming, Qi Cultivation 7th layer. In just 1 2-hour period, he broke through from Qi Cultivation 4th layer perfection to Qi Cultivation 7th layer. The woman in the purple dress could no longer maintain her icy demeanor. Her cold eyes were filled with shock, and she muttered incredulously, Impossible! The 9th grade and 7th grade are only 2 grades apart. How can the gap be this big? The woman in purple was so devastated that her Tao heart nearly crumbled. In her wildest dreams, she never imagined that her proud 7th grade spirit root would fall so far short compared to a 9th grade spirit root. In her mind, she no longer had any trace of discontent towards the prodigy with the 9th grade spirit root. All she had was immense dejection. Jiang Fan, drenched in sweat, left the secret room. Seeing the woman in purple outside, he realized his cultivation had disturbed her. Hastily, he clasped his hands in apology. Miss, I'm sorry for the disturbance. Disturbance? It was a blow. The woman in purple looked at Jiang Fan with complex emotions, engraving his appearance deeply in her mind. Gritting her teeth slightly, she said, My name is Liu Qingxian. Remember it, catch up to my realm, and I'll have a duel with you. With that, she took off the purple token hanging from her waist and tossed it to Jiang Fan. Take this and use it if your life is in danger. Don't you dare die. Humph. With these words, she flicked her sleeves and left, leaving Jiang Fan bewildered. What did I do to her? Why does she want a duel with me out of the blue? And she even gave me a token. Scratching his head, he left in confusion. Liu Qingxian left Lonely Boat City, riding a white crane. Not long after she took off, a dark cloud suddenly loomed overhead. Looking up, she saw an enormous blue eagle with a sharp-looking middle-aged man in a white robe standing on it with his hands behind his back. The powerful aura emanating from him dispersed all the gusts of wind. Seeing him, Liu Qingxian was greatly shocked and hurriedly bowed. Disciple Liu Qingxian of the Green Cloud Sect greets Deputy Pavilion Master Chen of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. The person in front of her was indeed one of the 4 Deputy Pavilion Masters of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, Chen Zhengdao. Without a doubt, he was the person from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion coming to take Lu Zheng away. Your father has been looking for you everywhere. Turns out you came here. Chen Zhengdao chuckled. He and the sect master of the Green Cloud Sect were once senior and junior brothers with a very close relationship. On his way here, he received a message saying his daughter had run away and asked him to keep an eye out for her. Glancing at Lonely Boat City below, he immediately understood Liu Qingxian's intention and curiously asked, "Have you met the one with the 9th grade spirit root? How was it?" Upon hearing this, Liu Qingxian's eyes turned red and she complained, "He was too bullying." Chen Zhengdao was stunned. In his memory, Liu Qingxian was a strong-willed girl who wouldn't yield to anyone. How had she been bullied into tears? What kind of blow did she suffer? How did he bully you? Tell me all about it. Chen Zhengdao quipped with a hint of amusement. Liu Qingxian recounted her experience. After listening, Chen Zhengdao stopped smiling. "That's impossible. Are you sure you didn't feel wrong? 1 2-hour period in an ordinary spiritual Qi pool from 4th layer perfection to 7th layer. I have an 8th grade spirit root, just a step away from 9th grade. But even my cultivation speed is not half of what you described." Seeing Chen Zhengdao's disbelief, Liu Qingxian felt a sense of relief. 8th grade spirit root got overshadowed too? Humph. Feeling pleased, she said, "Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, why not verify it yourself? I gave him the green cloud order, you'll recognize him easily. Farewell." After saying this, she cupped her hands, hummed a cheerful tune, and rode away on the white crane, leaving Chen Zhengdao in stunned silence. Is the gap between 9th grade and 8th grade really that big? I find it hard to believe. At the Su mansion. When Jiang Fan returned, he found the mansion in chaos. The servants hurriedly arranged various flower baskets and cleaned the tables and chairs. Even Su Zhengyan, the family head, personally joined the efforts, with Su Yoren hastily assisting. "What's going on?" Jiang Fan asked in surprise. Upon seeing him return, Su Zhengyan showed a hint of disdain and said, "Why are you standing there? Hurry up and help." Su Yoren handed over a cloth with respect. "A moment ago, the city lord sent someone urgently to notify us. The dignitaries from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion have arrived." The person from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion who came to take away the one with the 9th grade spirit root had finally arrived. "Jiang Fan, what are you standing there for? Get to work right away. If you ruin my big event, you won't be able to make up for it even with your 10 heads." At this moment, Lu Zheng, brimming with confidence and dressed in a brand new silk martial robe, proudly ordered. Jiang Fan casually threw the cloth he received to the ground. He wrote, "What does your matter have to do with me?" The people from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion were here for Lu Zheng. Why should Jiang Fan help clean up? Lu Zheng smiled insincerely. "What a fool you are. Today is the day I rise to the 9-layered heaven. Outside, many people are trying to cling to me in this last moment, but I don't have time for them. You're lucky to have the chance to wipe my chair, mop the floor, and yet you don't cherish it." Accompanied by Wang Yingfeng, who was also in high spirits, she sarcastically said, "Zheng, why bother with this mute? Some people are destined to remain lowly their whole lives. No matter how you try to help them, they won't rise." The aunt and nephew tag-teamed with their taunts. Right then, Qin Changsheng arrived upon hearing the news and cupped his hands with a smile. "Young Master Lu, I congratulate you. Here's a small gift as a token of respect. I hope young Master Lu will look after the Qin family in the future." Behind Qin Changsheng, several strong men carried several chests filled with low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, causing the Su family to gasp. Such a large amount of Qi Cultivation Liquid, at least worth 300,000 taels of silver. Su Zhengyan and Wang Yingfeng were so overwhelmed by the lavishness that they didn't dare accept it immediately. Giving a gift requires a return, but their Su family couldn't afford to reciprocate such a heavy gift. Lu Zheng, however, laughed heartily, accepting without hesitation. Family head Qin arrives just in time. Come, everyone working here each gets a bottle. Of course, someone who thinks too highly of themselves won't be getting one." Thus, Everyone from family members to servants happily received a bottle of low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, which they usually couldn't afford to buy. Except Jiang Fan, who was left empty-handed. Lu Zheng smugly said, "Jiang Fan, starting to regret now, aren't you? You just missed out on a bottle of low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Tusk, such a loss." Jiang Fan adjusted his vest to make the 10 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid inside less uncomfortable and slowly wrote, "If it were me, I wouldn't accept this gift until I entered the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion." What if Lu Zheng couldn't get in? How would he repay? Lu Zheng sneered, "Look at him, dreaming of becoming me, haha." Qin Changsheng naturally supported Lu Zheng, disdainfully saying, "Jiang Fan, I'm willing to gift. Young Master Lu is willing to accept. Why do you need to interfere?" Jiang Fan looked at Qin Changsheng, smiled playfully, and wrote, "I'm just worried for family head Qin ending up with nothing and deep regret." Qin Changsheng laughed heartily. "Regret? I've latched onto the leg of someone with a 9th-grade spirit root. I can't think of any reason for regret." At that moment, a gust of wind swept through. The giant blue eagle slowly descended over the Su family. A figure radiating overwhelming strength leapt down. Lu Zheng took a deep breath and said to Jiang Fan, "Jiang Fan, my moment of glory has come. Watch closely how I leap through the dragon's gate and become a true dragon of the 9 heavens." As Chen Zhengdao landed, Su Zhengyan led Lu Zheng and the Su family members out, kneeling on one knee to greet him. "Welcome, honored master of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion." Chen Zhengdao smiled and nodded gently. "I am the Deputy Pavilion Master of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, Chen Zhengdao." Deputy Pavilion Master. Everyone present was shocked. They had thought that it was just a deacon or someone similar coming. Who knew it was actually a Deputy Pavilion Master? Everyone was both terrified and shocked. The importance the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion placed on the 9th-grade spiritual root far exceeded their expectations. "Who here possesses the 9th-grade spiritual root?" Chen Zhengdao asked impatiently. In one 2-hour span, breaking through 3 levels in a row. This was simply defying the heavens. Everyone's gaze uniformly focused on Lu Zheng. Envy, jealousy, joy, and other emotions converged, making Lu Zheng feel extremely proud. He cupped his hands and said, "Junior Lu Zheng greets Deputy Pavilion Master Chen." Upon hearing this, Chen Zhengdao hurriedly stepped forward and personally helped him up, nodding repeatedly in praise. Not bad, a fine young man." Lu Zheng was flattered and overwhelmed. He had never expected that Deputy Pavilion Master Chen would be so approachable, causing him to become more reserved. Chen Zhengdao smiled, holding Lu Zheng's hand. "No need to be nervous, we could be considered half-countrymen. I am from the neighboring Bilu city. 30 years ago, when it was detected that I had an 8th-grade spiritual root, it shocked the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. 30 years later, you were detected to have a 9th-grade spiritual root, shocking the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion once again. This is our destiny." Everyone suddenly understood. So Chen Zhengdao was the prodigy from Bilu City with the black 8th-grade spiritual root back then. His initiative to forge a connection and draw in Lu Zheng was clearly understood by everyone present. This meant that when Lu Zheng went to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, Chen Zhengdao would definitely look after him. Lu Zheng's potential was infinitely bright. Qin Changsheng excitedly clenched his fist, murmuring to himself, "I told you I, Qin Changsheng, have never made a wrong choice in my life. Clinging to Lu Zheng is my most correct decision in this life." After chatting with Lu Zheng for a long time and becoming familiar with him, Chen Zhengdao finally got to the point. Glancing at the members of the Su family kneeling on the ground, he said, "You may all rise." Su Zhengyan was the first to stand up and respectfully said, "Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, please come inside." With that, everyone moved to the main hall. Chen Zhengdao sat alone, while the rest stood at the sides of the hall, not daring to breathe loudly. "Little Lu, I heard of the power of your 9th-grade spiritual root on the way here." Chen Zhengdao chuckled softly. "Even that cold girl from the Green Cloud sect was moved to tears by you." Lu Zheng was slightly bewildered. "The girl from the Green Cloud sect? Who was that?" Chen Zhengdao continued, "Could you demonstrate here how you operate your spiritual root and its marvels?" Breaking through 3 levels in one 2-hour span, the speed of absorbing spiritual energy was probably like a whale consuming seawater. Lu Zheng nodded, stepping to the center of the hall. The people from the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion wanting him to showcase himself was expected. However, merely operating the spiritual root wouldn't fully demonstrate the power of his 9th-grade spiritual root. So he already had a better idea. Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, could we change it to a sparring match instead? Without hesitation, Chen Zhengdao nodded. Who do you wish to spar with? A true expert would be obvious from the first move. In a bout, Lu Zhang could better showcase the uniqueness of the ninth grade spiritual root. Lu Zhang chuckled coldly inside, pointing towards Jiang Fan, who stood calmly with his hands folded in his sleeves. Jiang Fan, do you dare to compete with me again? Oh, Chen Zhengdao followed his finger and saw Jiang Fan. Seeing that he couldn't speak and could only write to respond, he was surprised. A mute, Lu Zhang explained. Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, you may not know. My beloved was taken away by him with a marriage contract. To win her back, I competed with him to see who could break through a level faster. But he used underhanded methods to win. I was not convinced, so I wanted Deputy Pavilion Master Chen to witness how I take back my beloved honorably and openly. This was asking the Deputy Pavilion Master to uphold justice. The Deputy Pavilion Master, however, frowned slightly. A mute, able to bully Lu Zhang, who had a ninth-grade spiritual root. Wang Yingfeng hurriedly stepped forward and said, reporting to Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, this is indeed the case. This Jiang Fan, relying on the kindness he once showed us, forced my eldest daughter to marry him. Out of gratitude, we swallowed our anger and had my daughter endure the humiliation and consent to marry. When my nephew tested as having a ninth-grade spiritual root and wanted to win his beloved back, Jiang Fan used deception to win. As she spoke, she glanced at the Su family members, coercing them to lie in support of Lu Zhang. Perhaps out of conscience or fear of the Deputy Pavilion Master's authority, no one dared to speak. However, Qin Changsheng quickly turned his eyes and immediately said, Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, I guarantee with the credibility of the Qin family that this is true. With two people attesting, the Deputy Pavilion Master's expression turned slightly cold. He looked at Jiang Fan with a hint of severity and said, using the pretext of kindness for forced marriage is no different from robbery. Do you dare to compete with Lu Zhang for the love you cherish? Su Yoren was stunned. It was clearly the Su family who were ungrateful and changed the marriage arrangement. How did it turn into Jiang Fan exploiting his kindness? She opened her mouth to explain, but Jiang Fan stopped her from speaking further and wrote, no need for more words. What can be solved with fists doesn't need debate. He then looked at Lu Zhang, wrote, how do you want to compete? Lu Zhang arrogantly replied, naturally it's a competition of strength. Do you have the guts to fight? Almost without hesitation. Jiang Fan swiftly wrote with his pen, all right. Seeing this, Lu Zhang sneered in his heart. Stupid and overestimating fool. He was at the 5th layer of Qi cultivation, and these past few days he had secretly practiced the Su family's Su's sword technique. And Jiang Fan, he had merely lucked into breaking through to the 3rd layer of Qi cultivation by coincidence. What could he use to win against him? Then let's begin. Lu Zhang drew his sword, pointing it at Jiang Fan from a distance. Today, he would step on Jiang Fan's face, take away Jiang Fan's woman, and show the world the power of the 9th grade spiritual root. And Jiang Fan would be the stepping stone for his rise to the heavens. Jiang Fan remained unafraid, calmly stepping to the center of the hall. He casually made a beckoning gesture. This arrogant gesture brought ridicule from Qin Changsheng. How ignorant does one have to be to provoke the 9th grade spiritual root? He kept saying, I would regret it. Later, when he is lying on the ground like a dead dog, I will ask him if he regrets it. Chen Zhengdao also gently shook his head and sighed softly. To dare to act so arrogantly in the face of a 9th grade spiritual root. This kid is too conceited. Such disdainful behavior further incited Lu Zhang's anger. You brought this upon yourself? Lu Zhang snorted coldly, using a move powerful splitting Hua Mountain, channeling the strong spiritual power of his 5th layer of Qi cultivation to slash ferociously. Jiang Fan smiled. After all this time, Lu Zhang had made no progress at all. As the sword's shadow came down, Jiang Fan released spiritual energy of the 6th layer of Qi cultivation. His finger, imbued with spiritual energy, lightly flicked the sword blade. The immense force, far beyond what Lu Zhang could withstand, instantly sent the sword flying from his hand. Lu Zhang was stunned momentarily, not comprehending what had just happened as Jiang Fan switched his finger to a palm, striking towards his face. Lu Zhang hastily channeled his spiritual power, roaring as he punched to meet the strike. He attempted to knock Jiang Fan away, salvaging some dignity. However, the clash resulted in Lu Zhang's 100-pound body being sent flying with a single palm strike, crashing into a tea table before coming to a stop. The entire scene fell silent. It was a deathly silence. Only the sound of Jiang Fan dusting off his sleeves could be heard, along with the words he penned. A ninth-grade spiritual root is nothing special. A ninth-grade spirit root failed, and failed so completely. The completely opposite result left everyone caught off guard. Su Yining's beautiful eyes flickered, having already noticed something. She thoughtfully gazed at Lu Zheng, who had blood all over his mouth. Wang Yingfeng, however, helped him up with a pained expression, saying, "Zhenger, were you being too careless?" Qin Changsheng also hurriedly took out a healing pill he couldn't bear to eat himself and stuffed it into Lu Zheng's mouth, saying, "Young Master Lu, don't be careless because of 10 years of friendship between you two. Deputy Pavilion Master Chen is watching." Everyone chimed in, considering Lu Zheng's defeat an accidental mishap. Chen Zhengdao slightly frowned, clearly noticing something was wrong too. Obviously, Liu Qingxian said she saw with her own eyes the ninth-grade spirit root breaking through from the 4th layer perfection of Qi cultivation to the 7th layer. Why was he easily defeated by a martial artist of the 6th layer? He couldn't help but re-examine Lu Zheng. "Are you really a 9th-grade spirit root? If you deceive me, do you know the crime?" Hearing this, the Su family's people were shocked. This defeat had actually shaken the truth of Lu Zheng's identity. Wang Yingfeng hurriedly defended her nephew, saying, "Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, please give my nephew another chance." Lu Zheng's pupils shrank as well, and he quickly stood up, saying, "Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, I swear by the heavens, I have never deceived your excellency. That day I did detect a 9th-grade spirit root. I was a bit careless just now. I'm willing to fight again and prove my strength." Seeing him speak so firmly, not looking like he was lying, Chen Zhengdao nodded slightly, deciding to give Lu Zheng another chance. "All right." Chen Zhengdao then looked at Jiang Fan, saying, "What do you think?" Jiang Fan unhesitantly wrote, "He can't beat me." He suppressed his realm, using less than half of his strength, yet Lu Zheng still couldn't win. Based on the result, Lu Zheng was exactly as he guessed. He wasn't anything like a 9th-grade spirit root. Seeing these 5 words, Lu Zheng was furious, roaring like an enraged lion. "Jiang, what kind of skill is it to sneak attack? Kneel before me?" He roared again and lunged like a fierce tiger. He wanted too much to win against Jiang Fan and prove himself, which made his strikes full of openings. Jiang Fan seized the opportunity, subtly dodged a sword strike and kicked him squarely in the chest. Pure Lu Zheng was knocked back again, but this time he spat blood, clearly suffering from internal injuries. His second defeat rendered the entire Su family speechless. One defeat could be considered carelessness. Could the second one also be? More and more clan members like Su Yining gradually saw through the facade. Besides Wang Yingfeng, who was still unwilling to wake up, treating this nephew as her biggest ace, the rest of the Su family began to doubt his 9th-grade spirit root identity. This time, even without Jiang Fan's words, Chen Zhengdao snorted softly. "Is this all a 9th-grade spirit root is?" He casually pulled out a mini version of the bronze ruler from the detection tower and threw it in front of Lu Zheng. "Retest," Chen Zhengdao ordered. Lu Zheng laughed bitterly. "I just lost twice, and that is enough to deny my spirit root. Fine, I'll prove it to you all. Let you see what a 9th-grade spirit root is." The doubting eyes around stabbed at his pride. He felt deeply humiliated. He grabbed the mini bronze ruler and glared at everyone in anger. "Su Zhengyan, I originally wanted to bring the Su family to rise together, but unfortunately you all doubted me. Then it's too bad your Su family isn't worthy of rising with me." Upon hearing this, the Su family members were suddenly in a frenzy. Qin Changsheng quickly said, "Young Master Lu, I believe in you, I believe in you." If Lu Zheng wasn't a 9th-grade spirit root, it wouldn't just be Lu Zheng's doom. Even the heaven of the Qin family would collapse. Lu Zheng nodded slightly, patting his shoulder. "You're the only one who supports me the most. Don't worry, I won't let you lose." He then looked at Jiang Fan. With madness in his eyes, "Jiang Fan, you think just because you luckily broke through to the 6th layer, you can look down on a 9th-grade spirit root? Open your dog eyes wide and see how dazzling my 9th-grade spirit root is." He tightly gripped the bronze ruler with his 5 fingers. Immediately, a surge of energy started flowing upward from the bottom of the ruler. 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. When it reached the 3rd grade, the energy flow slowed down significantly. It crept up like a snail. 3rd grade low, 3rd grade mid. Finally, it stopped just a hair's breadth from the 3rd grade upper. The whole place fell deathly silent. The drop of a pin could be heard. The retesting result of Lu Zheng, who supposedly had a 9th-grade spirit root, was actually 3rd grade mid. Even Lu Zheng himself was stunned, muttering, "How could this be?" How could this be? I clearly detected a ninth-grade spirit root. It must be a mistake. I'll try again. He gripped the bronze ruler once more, but the result remained the same, still third-grade mid. Lu Zheng panicked, his world collapsing around him. He shook his head. This is impossible. There's something wrong with this bronze ruler. Yes, that must be it. Seeing him descend into madness, doubting Deputy Pavilion Master Chen's magic artifact, Su Yining finally couldn't hold back, stood up, and grabbed the bronze ruler. The surge of energy started flowing from the bottom again, rushing past the third-grade mid-mark, reaching a brilliant blue area, sixth-grade spirit root. Su Yining looked at Lu Zheng, revealing a relieved expression. It seems that the bronze ruler has no problem. The problem lies with your test result. The whole place erupted. Even with Chen Zhengdao present, the murmurs of heated discussion couldn't be suppressed. What is this? He was never a ninth-grade spirit root. I flattered him for days just for this. You're lucky. Some people even offered themselves to him for nothing. Losing one's body is minor. Just think of the Qin family head. He just gifted a 30,000 valued low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, and he accepted it all. Wang Yingfeng, eager to protect her nephew, urgently shouted, "Enough! My Zhenger is definitely not third-grade mid, definitely not." At this moment, Su Yining interrupted her calmly. "Mother, are you still deluding yourself? We should have seen it when he lost to Jiang Fan the first time. 3 days. With a ninth-grade spirit root and the Qi Cultivation Liquid support from Qin Changsheng, yet he couldn't surpass Jiang Fan. At that moment, I already doubted his spirit root. Today's result was expected." Her pace quickened. Her long-suppressed heart finally found peace. It seemed she still remained Lonely Boat City's top prodigy. Sixth-grade spirit root was still the strongest. Wang Yingfeng bit her lips, knowing the truth better than anyone, but she just couldn't admit it. Lu Zheng's ninth-grade spirit root had once been her pride. Looking at the crestfallen Lu Zheng, she could only console him. "Zhenger, it seems the detection tower's bronze ruler had a malfunction. There isn't any ninth-grade spirit root in this world. Being third-grade mid is still top in Lonely Boat City." Hearing these words, the heavily struck Lu Zheng felt slightly better. He nodded slightly. "Yes, the best one is still Su Yining with her sixth-grade spirit root. I'm just 3 grades below, not too bad." However, Chen Zhengdao, with a grim expression, put away the bronze ruler and said something that shattered Lu Zheng's world. "Who said there is no ninth-grade spirit root in Lonely Boat City? It's just not you." Boom, boom. Lu Zheng's eyes widened, and the heart that had just felt a bit better was once again ruthlessly hit. "There really is a ninth-grade spiritual root. It's just not me." As a former ninth-grade spiritual root, the huge disparity, how could he endure it? The blood in his body churned, and he could no longer hold back, spurting a large mouthful of blood missed on the spot, collapsing to the ground and convulsing incessantly. Su Yining was equally devastated. She clenched her fists tightly, unable to accept it, and said, "Is there truly a ninth-grade spiritual root in Lonely Boat City? Isn't it possible that the detection tower is malfunctioning?" Deputy Pavilion Master Chen said, "Although I do not know why the bronze ruler of the detection tower would mistake a third-grade mediocre talent as having a ninth-grade spiritual root. But Lonely Boat City indeed has someone with a true ninth-grade spiritual root. The daughter of the Green Cloud Sect Master, I saw her not long ago, and even she admitted she was inferior. However," Deputy Pavilion Master Chen frowned. "Although Liu Qingxian said she left the Green Cloud Order with the other person, if the other person does not actively show it, how would he know?" Enough. He still had to call Liu Qingxian back, as only she had seen the ninth-grade spiritual root. Only she could help find it together. Su Yining's previously lightened mood was once again suppressed. She clenched her fists tightly and said, "I too want to know who this ninth-grade spiritual root truly is." Upon hearing this, Chen Zhengdao looked at her with a long sigh and said earnestly, "Stay calm. This ninth-grade spiritual root is very special, not to mention your sixth-grade spiritual root. Even my eighth-grade spiritual root is far inferior. If you can get to know him, it would be the fortune of your life." The implication was that Su Yining could only look up to him and was not even qualified for comparison. Su Yining showed a surprised look. Even an eighth-grade spiritual root was worlds apart. Then her sixth-grade spiritual root would be even more disparate, right? Thinking of this, she took some solace, thinking even a deputy pavilion master accepted it. What was her little sixth-grade spiritual root worth? She couldn't help but imagine what kind of style the prodigy with the ninth-grade spiritual root would have. murmuring, "He must be a dragon among men, invincible in the world." Suddenly, she noticed Jiang Fan standing in place with his hand on his chin, lost in thought, which felt like an eyesore. Today, he had taken all the limelight. The sixth layer of Qi Cultivation realm made people see him in a new light. But the more he did, didn't it show that she had misjudged him in the past? Jiang Fan winning against a ninth-grade spiritual root. Are you very proud? Su Yining said coldly with a face as if frost. Lu Zheng hasn't really been focused on training all these years. His mind was elsewhere. His foundation is unstable, and his swordsmanship has not reached great success. Winning against him is nothing. Jiang Fan snapped out of his thoughts. He had been thinking about who the ninth-grade spiritual root mentioned by Chen Zhengdao could be. Even the daughter of the Green Cloud sect master admitted she was inferior. It must mean the person was extremely exceptional. He wondered how his own transparent spiritual root compared to the ninth-grade spiritual root. On hearing her words, he just glanced at Su Yining and then dismissed it. Turning, he smiled at Su Yoren and wrote, "Surprised?" Su Yoren looked at Jiang Fan, her eyes full of light, nodding repeatedly. "Fan, you're amazing." Jiang Fan treating Su Yining as if she didn't exist and only caring about Su Yoren's opinion made Su Yining inexplicably uncomfortable. She felt overshadowed by her sister, Su Yoren. This made Su Yining feel somewhat uncomfortable. At this time, Chen Zhengdao also stood up to leave. Without waiting for the Su family to see him off, he jumped onto the flying eagle and soared into the sky. Su Zhengyin let out a long sigh of relief, collapsing onto the chair. Luckily, Deputy Pavilion Master Chen was kind-hearted and did not hold us accountable for the imposter ninth-grade spiritual root. Otherwise, our Su family would be in great trouble. He had been terrified earlier. Lu Zheng, who had been convulsing for a while and started to recover, also showed a look of relief after surviving a disaster. Although he was no longer a ninth-grade spiritual root, fortunately, Deputy Pavilion Master Chen did not punish him. However, the matter was far from over. An enraged roar exploded in the air. "Lu Zheng?" Everyone trembled and looked towards the voice, seeing Qin Changsheng's twisted face as if he wanted to devour someone alive. His hair stood on end, fists clenched, roaring, "You useless trash!" The biggest loser this time was not Lu Zheng. He was merely being returned to his original form, but Qin Changsheng was different. He had initially latched onto Lu Zheng and made wild bets. Now with Lu Zheng's true form revealed, never mind the embarrassment he felt. He had given 10 bottles of low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid at first. Earlier, when he came to congratulate, he brought a congratulatory gift worth a staggering 300,000 taels of silver. The key was, Lu Zheng had pretended to be generous and had given away all the low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, and it had all been drunk. There was no way to return it. Lu Zheng paled, saying, "Qin family head, calm down, I will find a way to repay you." He regretted deeply, wishing he had listened to Fan and not accepted the gifts first. "Repay? With what will you repay?" Qin Changsheng's eyes were red, wishing he could strangle Lu Zheng. He initially thought the Qin family had leveraged Lu Zheng and the Soul Master behind him. That's why he offered a congratulatory gift worth 300,000 taels of silver. In the end, it was all for nothing. Facing the completely turned against Qin Changsheng, Lu Zheng finally realized the Qin family was truly one of the top 4 families in Lonely Boat City. Normally, they wouldn't even have had the chance to associate with someone like him. Having a ninth-grade spiritual root was understandable, but without it, he was nothing to them. Terrified, he dared not speak and hid behind Wang Yingfeng. Qin Changsheng raged. "Within 3 days, gather the money and repay me, or else don't blame me for being ruthless." His body shook, emanating the powerful cultivation of the first layer of foundation establishment, terrifying the Su family onlookers significantly. The Su family was merely a middle-ranked family. How could they withstand the wrath of the Qin family? Lu Zheng could not hope to contend. Without protection, Qin Changsheng would surely kill him. As he left, Su Zhengyan angrily glared at Lu Zheng. "You scourge, get out, the Su family does not need such ingrates." He was furious. Instead of being elevated by Lu Zheng to great heights, they were humiliated and became the laughing stock of the whole city. Now they faced a colossal debt of 300,000 taels. Wang Yingfeng, protective as always, started to throw a fit. "Su, if you drive Zheng out, then you'll have to drive me out too." She threw herself onto the ground, kicking her legs, wailing. Su Zhengyan, seeing her stubborn tantrum, felt helpless and said, "So do you want the Su family to burden this debt? That's 300,000 taels of silver. Do you want the entire clan to starve?" Wang Yingfeng was at a loss for words. But she still wanted to protect her nephew, saying, This can't be blamed on Zheng, it's all Jiang Fan's fault. Yes, if Jiang Fan hadn't been next to Lu Zheng bringing bad luck, would Zheng have mistakenly thought he was a ninth-grade spiritual root? Hearing such unreasonable arguments, Su Zhengyan also became angry. Even though he disliked Jiang Fan, he felt Jiang Fan was innocent. He couldn't help but speak justly. No matter how you twist it, this mess was caused by Lu Zheng himself. This debt Lu Zheng will repay. Seeing her tantrum useless, Wang Yingfeng directed all her resentment towards Jiang Fan. Why didn't you let Lu Zheng win? If you had let him win, wouldn't there be no trouble? Su Yoren also became angry, saying, Aunt Wang, that's too much. It was Lu Zheng who kept bullying Fan, now you blame him? Seeing even the little girl argue with her, Wang Yingfeng became even angrier, shouting, Out of order, right? Fine, fine. You two really think you can become a couple and join hands to bully me, right? Let me tell you, your marriage is not yet set in stone. Jiang Fan, within 3 days, give me the bride price. If I am not satisfied, this marriage will not happen. Hearing this, Su Yoren's face turned pale. Blaming Jiang Fan so spitefully, the little bit of silver she had given Jiang Fan earlier would never be enough. She bit her red lip, about to say some softening words of apology. But Jiang Fan held her hand, stopping her. With the other hand, he wrote boldly, If the bride price satisfies you, will you shut your filthy mouth for good? He had endured Wang Yingfeng for a long time. It was one thing to repeatedly indulge Lu Zheng, but to bully Su Yoren time and again. This time, he would ensure she had no opportunity to interfere with their marriage. Wang Yingfeng's eyes were filled with wrath as she shouted, Fine, you have guts. As long as you can give me a satisfactory betrothal gift, I won't meddle in your affairs anymore. But remember, it must be a gift that satisfies me. Understood, Jiang Fan nonchalantly wrote a line, then just wait to shut up. Wang Yingfeng clenched her fist, gritting her teeth. Fine, I'll wait. With that, she stormed back to her room with a dark expression. Su Zhengyan glanced at Jiang Fan and couldn't help but look at him differently. You do have some backbone, kid. Seeing him so dominantly defend Su Yoren, as a father, he felt a bit reassured. However, Jiang Fan wanting to gather a betrothal gift that would satisfy Wang Yingfeng within 3 days seemed nearly impossible. He pondered whether he should help Jiang Fan and Su Yoren a bit. The crowd dispersed. Su Yoren returned to Jiang Fan's house with a worried look, her face troubled. Fan, you shouldn't have agreed just now. Do you know why Aunt Wang wants a satisfactory betrothal gift, and why she gave exactly 3 days? With no one around, Jiang Fan smiled. You know. So how could I not know? She just wants to get a large sum of silver to clean up her precious nephew's mess. As long as the betrothal gift exceeds 300,000 taels, even if she doesn't want to agree to us being together, she will hold her nose and accept it for Lu Zheng's sake. Su Yoren angrily punched Jiang Fan's chest. You know and still dare to agree. That's 300,000 taels of silver, where will you get it from? Rob the bank? Jiang Fan shrugged, mumbling softly. The bank may not have more than me. He had promised to marry Su Yoren in grand style. So even without Wang Yingfeng demanding a high-priced betrothal gift, Jiang Fan had already planned to offer a lavish betrothal gift. Night fell. After Su Yoren left, Jiang Fan began refining Qi Cultivation Liquid. With the experience from the day, he did it skillfully. By dawn, he had placed 40 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and 20 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid before him. The efficiency of the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid has improved a lot compared to yesterday. All right, sell the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid to the Chen family, which will bring in another 400,000 taels of silver. Including the previous 500,000, that's 900,000 taels of a hefty sum. He was about to leave for the Chen family. But Su Yoren came over, smiling brightly. Fan, Chen Silin invited me to her mansion and wants me to bring you along too. Who? Chen Silin, the one from the Chen family. Seeing his confusion, Su Yoren explained, She's my close friend, we've known each other for many years. For this betrothal gift, I want to ask for her help. If it weren't for a matter concerning the survival of her marriage, she really wouldn't seek help. Now she could only seek Chen Silin's assistance. When you meet her later, you must make a good impression, understand? Perhaps she's our last hope. Make a good impression. Does it mean to refine more top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? Jiang Fan scratched his nose and helplessly followed Su Yoren to the Chen family. Feeling the weight of the Qi Cultivation Liquid in his pocket, Jiang Fan was a bit speechless. Couldn't go visiting like this, could he? Better sell the Qi Cultivation Liquid to the Chen family first. Nearing the Chen family's gate, Jiang Fan said, "Yoren, why don't you wait here? I'll buy some pastries and come back soon." Su Yoren was momentarily stunned, then realized it was Jiang Fan's first visit to the Chen mansion. He should bring a gift along. "You are quite considerate, all right, hurry back. Chen Silin is very busy, it's rare she has time to meet us, we can't waste her time." Jiang Fan nodded and slipped into the crowd. Taking advantage of Su Yoren's inattention, he dodged into an alley, changed his attire, and appeared at the Chen family gate. The Treasure Pavilion's shopkeeper was initially waiting for Su Yoren. Seeing the Soul Master, he was pleasantly surprised. "Senior, why have you come so early?" From last night to today, countless people had been urging their Chen family to sell top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Many even offered double the price to get a bottle of the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. However, Chen Silin worried that this senior Soul Master might not provide enough top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid today, so she dared not agree. Unexpectedly, this senior Soul Master was so diligent. In just one night, he had come as promised to deliver the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. "Please come in, let me take you to the young lady." At the Chen family's backyard, Chen Silin was practicing swordsmanship in the courtyard, trying to calm her anxious heart. After thinking all night, she still couldn't decide whether to dedicate herself to this senior longing for her. First, the age. Second, the other party might not fulfill the promise of nurturing Soul Master apprentices. "Miss, the senior has come to deliver the Qi Cultivation Liquid." The shopkeeper's voice interrupted her sword practice. Chen Silin was startled, turning her head to see the mysterious Soul Master, wrapped tightly in a loose robe. She couldn't help but feel a bit happy. She was naturally pleased that he kept his promise and came early to deliver the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. However, her mind soon grew troubled again. She was troubled, of course, because she still hadn't decided whether to accept his implicit offer. As she pondered, she discreetly squeezed the delusion-breaking crystal hidden in her sleeve. Steadying her emotions, she quickly put down her sword and ran over, her flushed face and beads of sweat rolling down her smooth chin, sliding into the depths of her chest. The sweaty martial robe clung tightly to her body, outlining a voluptuous and alluring figure. Jiang Fan couldn't help but take another look before quickly averting his gaze, placing the 40 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid on the table. "Here it is." Chen Silin felt nervous. Because she had been paying attention to the senior Soul Master's glance, even though he only looked at her for a moment, she still caught it. It made her even more flustered inside. She quickly checked the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, confirming there was no problem, then handed over the prepared silver note and 50 sets of materials on the spot. "Senior, everything is here." She bit her lip lightly, deliberately keeping her distance as she handed it to Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan looked puzzled. What's wrong with her? Did she think he would eat her? "All right, I'll come back tomorrow." Jiang Fan pocketed the items and turned to leave. "Wait a moment, Senior." Suddenly, Chen Silin called after him. "Senior, have some tea before you go. I specially prepared a bowl of spiritual tea for you." As soon as she finished, a maid carefully brought over a bowl of jade-green spiritual tea. The tea had a rich aroma, and it was clearly top-grade spiritual tea that could enhance cultivation. It was priceless and beyond the reach of ordinary families. Jiang Fan's fingers twitched, and he sat down to take a sip. While he lowered his head, Chen Silin turned away and discreetly fitted 2 thin, transparent crystals into her eyes. Taking a deep breath, she turned back, nervously looking at the senior. She secretly hoped. She wished this senior who hinted at her wasn't too old. At the very least, it would put her at ease. If he was middle-aged, that would be ideal. As for appearance, she didn't have high hopes just as long as he wasn't too ugly. But when the delusion-breaking crystal gradually pierced through the layers of thick robes, revealing Jiang Fan beneath, Chen Silin was stunned. A man's exceptionally young face came into view. In terms of age, he wasn't that much older than herself. Moreover, his features were delicate, his appearance handsome, his stance upright, and he exuded a serene aura. Was this really a Soul Master Senior? Wasn't it said that all Soul Masters were elderly people who had cultivated for many years? Chen Silin couldn't believe it. This wasn't some lecherous old man, it was clearly an exceptional prodigy. In the Green Cloud sect, even the Soul Master who held such a lofty status that the sect master had to give them some face, was only a second-grade Soul Master. Didn't that mean that the young man in front of her was someone so significant that a mere stomp of his foot could cause tremors throughout the entire Green Cloud sect's territory? "What's wrong?" Jiang Fan noticed Chen Silin's odd gaze and couldn't help but ask. Chen Silin, flustered, hurriedly replied, "Nothing, nothing." Jiang Fan vaguely felt something wasn't right, so he cautiously put down his tea, saying, "I have things to attend to, so I will leave first." Watching his departing figure, Chen Silin couldn't take her eyes off him for a long time. The shopkeeper whispered, "Miss, did you see clearly?" Chen Silin nodded with a complex expression. The shopkeeper's voice got even lower. "So, you—" Chen Silin bit on her rose petal-like red lips, her face gradually turning red. "If it's necessary to sacrifice for the family, I can consider it." The shopkeeper sighed deeply in his heart, feeling pity. It seemed that Chen Silin had made up her mind to sacrifice herself. It was truly a hard fate for Miss, being ruined by such an old guy for the sake of the family. At this moment, a servant reported, Miss Su Yoren has arrived." Chen Silin came back to her senses and went to greet her while still wearing her martial robe. Very soon, seeing Su Yoren dressed in verdant green, gracefully like a lotus leaf in early summer, her eyes lit up. "You, girl, are becoming more and more beautiful." She stepped forward, hugging her waist and pinching her chin, teasingly saying, "Little lady, you have become even more attractive since we last met. Let me have a good look." Being teased like this in public, Su Yoren's face turned red and she protested, "Aren't you embarrassed?" Chen Silin then let her go, covering her mouth and laughing incessantly. Su Yoren, having been with her for a long time, knew her nature. Seeing her so happy, she said, "You are in a very good mood. You must have encountered something good. Tell me about it." Chen Silin, eager to talk to someone, pulled her to the backyard and recounted the events of the past few days. After listening, Su Yoren's face turned complex and she asked, "Xiling, are you really determined?" Even if he is very young, his implicit suggestion shows that he is a lustful person with an unprincipled mind. Even if he gets your body, he might not take responsibility for you. Chen Silin, on the contrary, had come to terms with it, saying, "As children of a big family, where is our freedom? Even if I don't sacrifice myself willingly, sooner or later, the family will marry me off to someone I don't like as a tool for alliance. Now, giving myself to a second-grade soul master is actually a step up." This, Su Yoren thought of herself. She was also forced into a substitute marriage. The difference was, the man she married was Jiang Fan, a very reliable person, much better than this lustful soul master. She sympathetically held Chen Silin's hand. "It's just in the future it will be hard for you to get married." Chen Silin sighed. "If this soul master takes responsibility for me after having my body, then I will be wholeheartedly devoted to him, seeing him as my husband, loyal and unwavering. If he abandons me, it's fine. I'll just remain single for life. As long as he fulfills his promise to train a few soul master apprentices for the Chen family, that will be enough." Su Yoren looked pained. Compared to herself, Chen Silin's future seemed much more dismal, and she softly said, "Xiling, I'm sorry I can't help you." Chen Silin smiled, not wanting to continue discussing this issue, and said, "By the way, where is your fiancé? Didn't I ask you to bring him along?" Su Yoren got angry at the mention. "Don't mention him." On the way, he said it was his first visit and he wanted to bring a gift, so he went to buy something. But he hasn't returned for a long time, and the time for our appointment was approaching, so I came first. Already dissatisfied with Jiang Fan, Chen Silin criticized, "He can't even be punctual. What kind of person is this?" Su Yoren was helpless. Knowing it was his first visit, Jiang Fan was still late, leaving a bad impression on others. Later, asking her to help would probably be difficult. At this time, a servant came to report again. "Miss, a man named Jiang Fan claims to be Miss Su's fiancé." Chen Silin said irritably, "Let him wait outside." While Su Yoren was angry, she couldn't bear to see Jiang Fan being neglected like this, so she softly said, "Xiling, he was just preparing something thoughtful, that's why he missed the time." "Don't blame him." Seeing Su Yoren so protective of him, Chen Silin got even more furious and said, "Fine, let him in. I just have something to say to him." She always thought Su Yoren was forced into marriage with Jiang Fan. Now it seemed Su Yoren had voluntarily done so. This made her anxious, and she earnestly advised her. "Yoren, it's not that I'm saying you. Marriage is a major life event. How can you treat it so lightly? Your stepmother already sees you as an eyesore and treats you badly. You should find a rich young master to marry to ensure lifetime happiness. How could you act so foolishly and marry a mute?" After being scolded like this, Su Yoren sighed softly. "It's actually very complicated." She briefly explained her situation of marrying on behalf of her sister. Chen Silin, being knowledgeable about the world, immediately understood and said irritably, "You're such a fool. Your father, stepmother, and sister all conspired together, putting on a double act. Your father and sister may not have any other motives, they are just considering the family or themselves. But your stepmother definitely wants to pin you down with a mute, ruining your entire life. How malicious she is! After learning the reason, Chen Silin was even more determined not to allow the two to get married. Su Yoren, holding her aching head, knew that revealing the truth would lead to this outcome. Siling, although my union with Fan was an accident, we get along well. I can feel his sincerity and believe he will treat me well in the future. Chen Silin poked her forehead angrily. What's the use of sincerity? Let me ask you, can his sincerity buy enough betrothal gifts? Su Yoren was speechless. If Jiang Fan could provide enough betrothal gifts, she wouldn't have thought of asking Chen Silin for help. If he can't even gather the betrothal gifts, how can he talk about giving you happiness? Chen Silin, looking at Su Yoren, couldn't help but feel sorry for her, tearfully said, Yoren, you are the most pitiful. Your beauty and character are unique. Clearly, you could have a wonderful life, but you were forced to marry a mute in your sister's place. She clenched her fists, gritted her teeth, and said, I can't watch you fall into this fiery pit. About the 30,000 betrothal gifts, I won't help him no matter what. I will not allow him to ruin your life. She decided to be the bad person at this moment. The family servant tiptoed in and reported, Miss, young Master Jiang is here. Chen Silin's eyes turned sharp, just in time. I will make him retreat in the face of difficulties. Su Yoren panicked and pleaded, Siling, please don't do this. Fan has worked so hard and finally made some progress on the martial path. Please don't hurt his self-esteem. Seeing her protect Jiang Fan so vehemently, Chen Silin felt that if she didn't break them apart quickly, there would be no chance left. She nodded and said, Don't worry, I won't insult him. I just want to have a heartfelt talk about your future. If he is a responsible person, he should know how to choose. Tap, 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 steady footsteps were heard. Following the maid's guidance, Jiang Fan arrived at the backyard he had just visited. However, this time he was stopped by the maid before entering. The backyard is only for women. Please stay here and wait for Mrs. Instructions. Jiang Fan froze for a moment. How did he get in just now? Are you Jiang Fan, Yoren's fiancé? Through a wall, he heard a familiar voice, which indeed belonged to Chen Silin. The aggressive tone made Jiang Fan touch his nose. How could this girl have two faces? Facing him as a soul master, she was obedient. Assuming a different identity, she became ferocious. Yes, that's me. Jiang Fan wrote a note and threw it over the wall. Chen Silin had a servant pick it up, scanned it, and said, I am Yoren's good friend. Now I want to ask you a few questions. Please answer honestly. First, when you marry Yoren, do you genuinely like her, or do you want to curry favor with the Su family living off her? Living off her. Su Yoren showed a look of pleading, asking Chen Silin not to embarrass Jiang Fan like this. Currently, Jiang Fan was homeless and entirely reliant on the Su family for support. If others said he was living off someone, he had no way to refute it. Chen Silin's sharp gaze made her feel that the first question alone could render Jiang Fan speechless. Unexpectedly, a few brand-new silver notes flew over the courtyard wall. Chen Silin was stunned, slightly shocked. 5 silver notes, each valued at 10,000 taels, totaling 50,000 taels. They were even from the same bank where she had given notes to that soul master. Su Yoren was also surprised. Fan, where did you get so much money? 50,000 taels of silver notes were beyond what Jiang Fan could own. Jiang Fan simply smiled and threw over another note. Miss Chen, you can ask the second question now. With 50,000 taels of silver notes, it was enough for both of them to live well. The claim of living off someone was easily dispelled. Chen Silin was a bit stunned, thinking where someone who had been living under others' roofs for 10 years could get so much silver. Originally intending to discourage Jiang Fan, she was unexpectedly shown up by him. Slightly annoyed, she asked again, even if you have some savings, can you protect Yoren? Our lonely boat city is still considered peaceful. The outside world is cutthroat and ruthless. Are you sure you can protect him? Someone as beautiful as Su Yoren would be coveted wherever she went. Without strength, she could not be protected. Chen Silin thought that someone like Jiang Fan, without cultivation, was not capable of protecting her. On the contrary, he would only drag her down. Hearing no response from the other side, Chen Silin thought she had hit his sore spot and continued proudly. If you truly like Su Yoren, let go. You cannot protect her, before she could finish speaking. The wall between them suddenly cracked open with a huge hole, revealing Jiang Fan's lower half. Chen Silin immediately sensed Jiang Fan's realm, astonished, 7th layer of Qi cultivation. At this age, such a realm within Lonely Boat City was considered a top-level expert. She blinked hard, incredulous, seeking confirmation from Su Yoren. Isn't it said that he doesn't have a spirit root? Su Yoren smiled bitterly. Maybe he has been cultivating in silence all along and we just didn't know. Chen Silin was dumbfounded. What made her furious was Jiang Fan's provocative note that followed. Any more questions? Chen Silin gritted her teeth slightly. This guy, how smug he is. So what if you have some cultivation? What can you give Yoren? If she marries into a wealthy household, she can get endless resources and various cultivation techniques. Do you have those? She believed this was the Achilles heel for someone like Jiang Fan without a background. Jiang Fan might have some money, some cultivation, but resources and top-grade techniques were the core assets of wealthy families. These were something a poor boy could never possess. Silence ensued for a long time, with barely audible sounds of ripping. She thought Jiang Fan, out of frustration, was destroying things and couldn't help but feel a bit remorseful. If it weren't absolutely necessary, she wouldn't want to hurt someone unjustly, so her tone softened a bit as she spoke. Jiang Fan, I don't mean to target you. It's just that Yoren's fate is too bitter. I hope you can let go and let her marry someone worthy. If you agree to give up the engagement, I am willing to provide you with some top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid as compensation. Is that acceptable? But there was still no response from the other side. After a while, a small bundle was thrown over. Chen Silin was surprised and had the maid pick it up. She unpacked it in front of Su Yoren. 5 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid emerged in front of her eyes. Top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid? Where did you get it? Chen Silin's face was filled with shock. Top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid was exclusively sold by the Chen family, limited to 1 bottle per person. It was impossible for anyone to buy 5 bottles at once. Could he have hired people to grab them? This guy really has some money, huh? Chen Silin admitted that she had underestimated Jiang Fan's financial strength. However, these 5 bottles are nothing, right? Chen Silin said, then noticed a torn cover of a nameless technique at the bottom of the bundle. Was he tearing this just now? Chen Silin picked it up, bewildered. You can't be telling me this is a technique, right? But as soon as Chen Silin opened and glanced at the first page, she sprang up from her chair, her dainty visage filled with shock. Yellow-level high mental method, she gasped, incredulous. In Lonely Boat City, the best technique the largest wealthy family could offer was only yellow-level medium. Yet Jiang Fan gifted Su Yoren a yellow-level high mental method. This was a top-grade resource that no wealthy family could offer. At this moment, another note from Jiang Fan was thrown over. Any more questions? Chen Silin, who initially intended to deter Jiang Fan, was now harshly schooled by him. As a young mistress, Chen Silin had never been treated this way before. Gritting her teeth, she grabbed a treasured sword from the table, shouting, "Come here. I want to see if you still have your bravado in front of me." Su Yoren tugged at Chen Silin's sleeve, laughing and crying. Siling let it go. They were supposed to just talk. How did it turn to this? Can't you take it anymore? Chen Silin, furious, said, "Don't stop me. I must teach him a lesson today." In her glaring eyes, a tall figure dressed in a green robe slowly walked through the moon gate. Jiang Fan's appearance immediately etched into her eyes. With just one look, Chen Silin felt as if struck by lightning, frozen in place. Who did I see? A Soul Master Senior. Chen Silin's mind went blank. She felt a disorienting sense of confusion. Jiang Fan, the mute whose useless reputation had spread throughout Lonely Boat City, looked exactly like a second-grade Soul Master. No, they were the same person. The same person. Her best friend's fiancé was actually the mysterious Soul Master Senior she had been preparing to devote herself to. For a long time, she was stunned until Su Yoren's voice awakened her. Siling, don't be angry. Fan, look at how you've agitated Silin. Apologize to her. Chen Silin suddenly snapped back to reality. She was inwardly gasping in shock. How could she dare let a second-grade Soul Master apologize to her? Immediately, she dropped the sword in her hand and waved her hand. No, it was my impulsiveness. I offended the Soul Young Master Jiang. She realized that Su Yoren seemed unaware of Jiang Fan's true identity. It appeared Jiang Fan was deliberately hiding it, so she quickly corrected herself. Young Master Jiang, please have a seat. She was a bit nervous and politely invited Jiang Fan to sit down. Then she personally picked up the teapot, poured him a cup of tea, and handed it to him with both hands. Young Master Jiang, please have some tea. Jiang Fan found it strange. She had been fierce just a moment ago, but changed as soon as she saw him. Su Yoren also looked puzzled. Wasn't she clamoring to teach Jiang Fan a lesson? What happened to make her suddenly so polite? Could it be that she was giving herself face and didn't want to make trouble with Jiang Fan? Thinking about it, Su Yoren smiled with relief. Fan, Sillin is my best friend. She was just testing you earlier, don't take it to heart. Jiang Fan nodded and wrote, Understand. Chen Sillin, however, was drenched in sweat. Recalling her earlier actions, she was terrified. She had been challenging the powerful support of the Chen family and even drew her sword against him. The more she thought about it, the more uneasy she felt, with a worried expression and a gentle voice. Young Master Jiang, I heard from Yoren that the Su family matriarch made things difficult for you during the betrothal gift. Yoren and I have been friends for many years. I can't sit back and do nothing. I will have someone bring over 300,000 taels shortly, hoping it can help young Master Jiang. She wanted to make amends. But Su Yoren was puzzled. Just now, Chen Sillin didn't say that. She categorically stated she wouldn't help. She even swore to break them apart. So what happened? Jiang Fan hadn't even asked for help, and she offered it voluntarily. Even more outrageous was, during their subsequent interactions, Chen Sillin left Su Yoren aside and kept being attentive to Jiang Fan, offering snacks first to Jiang Fan. When touring the Chen family garden, she introduced Jiang Fan first. Explaining the Chen family's history, she disclosed many secrets to Jiang Fan that Su Yoren didn't even know. Chen Sillin had never been this enthusiastic with her over all these years. So, on the way back, Su Yoren was unhappy in the carriage. What's wrong? Jiang Fan was sorting through the various big and small gifts Chen Sillin had given. Noticing Su Yoren's troubled expression, he asked in confusion. Su Yoren looked at Jiang Fan, hesitant to speak. But in the end, she couldn't hold back and sourly said, It seems Chen Sillin has fallen for you. What? Jiang Fan's eyes widened. Don't talk nonsense. Su Yoren felt even more bitter and said, I've never seen her so interested in a man. And at first she was aggressive towards you, but seeing you in person, she changed. Isn't that love at first sight? As she spoke, her eyes reddened. She never dreamed her friend's melodramatic story of snatching a man would happen to her. Being kind-hearted, she didn't blame Chen Sillin, but felt bitter. Fan, if you think Chen Sillin is good, choose her. I won't blame you. Her eyes showed a hint of insecurity. In terms of family background, identity, and strength, Chen Sillin was much stronger than her. Jiang Fan marrying her could bring endless benefits, and he wouldn't be entangled in troubles like he was with the Su family. Seeing she was about to cry, Jiang Fan realized she was genuinely upset. He quickly pulled her into his arms. Silly girl, no matter what Chen Sillin feels about me, let's not talk about it. But do my feelings for you need to be questioned? During my most difficult time, it was you who saved me. This kindness deserves a lifetime to repay. Hearing Jiang Fan's sincere words, Su Yoren started to feel better. I gave you a top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid earlier. Use it secretly, don't save it. I have plenty more. Also, work hard on the high yellow level mental method. Jiang Fan reminded her again. He considered giving her the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid too, but he worried she might ask too many questions and discover his soul master identity. So for now, he let her use the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Su Yoren's face finally showed a smile. I'll work hard. With the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and the high yellow level mental method, she was confident she could quickly improve her cultivation. Although she couldn't catch up with Chen Sillin, she would close the gap. Leaning against Jiang Fan, she regained some sense of security and said, Sillin promised to help us gather the betrothal gifts, so we don't have to worry now. However, when they returned to the Su family, they saw several luxurious carriages parked at the Su family's entrance. Upon entering, they found boxes covered with red paper lined up from the door to the living room. Seeing Su Yoren return, Wang Yingfeng's face beamed with joy. Yoren, come quick, meet young Master Zhu. Do you remember him? Su Yoren, puzzled, walked into the hall and saw a young man in fine clothes sitting on par with her father, Su Zhengyin. Tall and handsome, with a sharp and extraordinary gaze. His cultivation had reached the foundation establishment realm, except he was much older than Su Yoren, around 30 years old. Zhu Jianshan? Su Yoren recognized him and called his name with slight resistance. Jiang Fan followed and couldn't help but frown. Why him? 5 years ago, Zhu Jianshan was found to have a 4th-grade spirit root. His relative from the Green Cloud sect managed to bring him into the sect. Back then, he was only at the 3rd layer of Qi cultivation. Now, after years of training in the Green Cloud sect, he had become a Foundation Establishment Realm expert. What Jiang Fan remembered most was Zhu Jianshan luring Su Yoren to a ruined temple, attempting to defile her. It was Jiang Fan's father who intervened and chased Zhu Jianshan away. That's why after his father's death, Su Yoren took care of Jiang Fan. Su Yoren looked at the ground full of red boxes, feeling an ominous premonition. "Father, what's this?" Su Zhengyan sighed deeply and said, "Young Master Zhu came back from the Green Cloud sect to heal, and upon learning you were still unmarried, came to propose." Propose. Su Yoren immediately opposed fiercely. "I already have a fiancé. Young Master Zhu, please take back these betrothal gifts." Wang Yingfeng retorted. "Fiancé? You mean Jiang Fan? Did he present any betrothal gifts? Even if he did, can he give as much as young Master Zhu? Do you know how much these gifts are worth? A total of 500,000 taels of silver. Can Jiang Fan afford that?" Everyone turned their gazes to Jiang Fan. Many of the clan members showed sympathy. Poor Jiang Fan, facing one challenge after another. Zhu Jianshan also looked at Jiang Fan provocatively. If it hadn't been for Jiang Fan and his father, he would have already made Su Yoren his. But today's timing wasn't too late. 500,000 taels of betrothal gifts were enough to make Jiang Fan watch helplessly as his woman was taken away. Su Yoren was also anxious. Chen Silin had only promised 300,000 taels as the betrothal gift. 500,000 taels, Chen Silin couldn't produce such an amount all at once. At this moment, Jiang Fan unceremoniously wrote a line. "After 5 years in the Green Cloud sect, you could only come up with 500,000 taels for betrothal gifts." The Su family members looked at each other in confusion. Lu Zheng couldn't help but retort sarcastically, "Jiang Fan, have you forgotten that you are still living under someone's roof?" Wang Yingfeng sneered even more directly. "If your ears are bad, I can repeat it again. This is a betrothal gift worth 500,000 taels. 500,000, not 5 taels. A man who doesn't even have 5 coppers dares to boast here." Zhu Jianshan opened his folding fan and shook it gently, smiling. "Aunt Wang, Brother Lu, please be more understanding towards Jiang Fan. After all, it's normal to say extreme things when one's fiancé is taken away, feeling upset." Then he changed his tone to a mocking one. "However, Jiang Fan, let me tell you this, one should have self-awareness. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask if you deserve Su Yoren. A man who can't even afford a betrothal gift, still dreaming of marrying her." The room burst into laughter. Su Yoren clenched her fists, wanting to say something, but Su Yining beside her sighed softly. "Sister, stop being naive. 1,000 words of defense from a woman are no match for a man's backbone. Jiang Fan really doesn't deserve you?" Zhu Jianshan shook his fan more proudly, laughed disdainfully, and then turned to Wang Yingfeng and Su Zhengyan. "Uncle, aunt, what do you think? If you agree, please accept these betrothal gifts and let's set the wedding date." Wang Yingfeng readily agreed, but Su Zhengyan kept frowning. After all, Zhu Jianshan almost defiled Su Yoren back in the day. His character was evidently poor. Could his daughter be happy marrying him? She might as well marry Jiang Fan. At least Jiang Fan's character had been observed over 10 years and was found to be upright, a gentleman. "Say something," Wang Yingfeng urged impatiently. Su Zhengyan sighed silently. This was where his hesitation lay. The Su family still had to depend on Wang Yingfeng's family for support. Some matters required respecting her opinion. So he pondered for a long time but couldn't make a decision. Jiang Fan, however, slowly took out a thick stack of silver notes and slapped them on Zhu Jianshan's table. Everyone, including Su Yoren, looked on in shock. "Silver notes?" Su Zhengyan stepped forward in astonishment and counted the notes before Zhu Jianshan's face, exclaiming, 510,000 taels. "What?" Wang Yingfeng seized them in disbelief. "Could they be fake?" 510,000, the Su family's income for 3 years combined wouldn't be this much. Where did Jiang Fan, a person living under someone else's roof, get so many silver notes? But upon careful inspection, she found they were genuine notes from the largest bank in Lonely Boat City. Beside her, Su Yining looked at the 510,000 taels silver notes in disbelief, muttering, "He actually got this many silver notes." Under the gaze of astonished eyes, Jiang Fan calmly wrote a note and slapped it in front of Zhu Jianshan. "Mingling in Green Cloud sect for 5 years, yet you can't even compare to me." One had 510,000 taels. The other had 500,000 taels. The difference was clear. Such a humiliating slap in the face made Zhu Jianshan's face turn green. He slammed the table and roared, "Jiang Fan, what do you mean?" Jiang Fan smirked and wrote quickly, "Isn't my meaning clear? Do you have the right to compete with me for Yoren?" These words. Su Yoren, who felt downcast, blushed slightly and looked at Jiang Fan with sparkling eyes. Su Yining suddenly felt a bit envious. Having 510,000 taels and being willing to spend it on a betrothal gift were two different things. Being willing to give all his wealth for Su Yoren showed how important she was to Jiang Fan. It seemed Su Yoren had found a man who truly cared for her. Su Zhengyan showed a happy expression. Although he didn't know where Jiang Fan got the money, he could rightfully marry off his daughter. Wang Yingfeng checked the silver notes one by one, confirming they were not fake. Her face visibly darkened. Finally, in anger, she scattered the silver notes, glaring at Jiang Fan. 510,000 taels of silver is still not enough. I said it must be a betrothal gift that satisfies me. And now I am not satisfied. Understand? The Su family members saw the truth clearly. It was not that she was dissatisfied with the betrothal gift, she was dissatisfied with Jiang Fan. The same betrothal gift of 500,000 taels made her very satisfied with Zhu Jianshan, but had a different attitude towards Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan remained unfazed, instead writing another note. That's right, I'm not satisfied either. Offering this 500,000 silver note is just to tell you that these things are not worthy of marrying the best woman in the world. I hope you, the head wife, can widen your perspective a bit and not get lost over mere tens of thousands of taels. Gasp. He actually dared to mock Wang Yingfeng right to her face. This was even more insulting than a slap. Jiang Fan! Wang Yingfeng's eyes widened in rage as she screamed. Who are you saying hasn't seen money? Jiang Fan smirked, writing, Of course, it's the money-hungry you. It couldn't possibly be the one with 510,000 taels, could it? Wang Yingfeng, furious, raised her hand to slap Jiang Fan. But Su Zhengyan intercepted her, yelling sternly, Do you have no sense of shame left? How could the head wife of a prestigious family act like a shrew and hit someone in public? Wang Yingfeng, unwilling to give up, shouted angrily, Jiang Fan, you have 2 more days. If you don't come up with a betrothal gift that satisfies me, you can forget about marrying Su Yoren. Forget it, Jiang Fan wrote calmly. Don't worry, if my betrothal gift can't satisfy you, then no one in Lonely Boat City can marry Yoren. These words made Zhu Jianshan, who was standing beside, unable to ignore them. Look at you boasting. Zhu Jianshan snorted coldly. I, the young master of the 3rd largest family in Lonely Boat City, a disciple of Green Cloud sect, am still inferior to you, a loser. In 2 days, I'll come back to propose again. Just watch Su Yoren become my woman. Let's go. The Zhu family's servants awkwardly carried back the boxes of gold and silver jewelry, back at the Zhu family residence. Chen, why did you bring all the betrothal gifts back? His mother Zhang Yuxiu asked in surprise. Zhu Jianshan, with a grim face, explained everything that had happened. Zhang Yuxiu immediately felt indignant for her son. Unbelievable. How can a man living under someone else's roof compete with my outstanding son? Shen, don't worry. Isn't it just a betrothal gift? Mother will arrange everything for you herself. With the Zhu family's wealth and connections, how could an orphan compete with us? Immediately she ordered, Butler, prepare some gifts for me. Tomorrow I will visit the Chen family. Their top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is hard to come by. Fortunately, I am an old friend of the Chen family's mistress. How difficult could it be to buy a few bottles? Shen, come with me to the Chen family tomorrow. Zhu Jianshan suddenly looked up in astonishment. What? Our Lonely Boat City has top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. In Green Cloud sect, only outstanding disciples were allowed to consume this. Zhang Yuxiu nodded. Yes, it started selling the day before yesterday, but only 50 bottles are sold daily. Without strong connections, you can't buy it. Taking this as a betrothal gift, that Jiang boy will be left speechless. Zhu Jianshan's brows furrowed. But mother, top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid can only be refined by a 2-star soul master. Could it be that our little Lonely Boat City has produced a 2-star soul master? It's no joking matter. In my opinion, you've all been deceived. What does a 2-star soul master represent? Even the Green Cloud sect master would travel miles to personally visit such a being. How could one possibly be in this small, lonely boat city? His words made Zhang Yuxiu uncertain. Since Green Cloud sect had a 2-star soul master, her son had more authority on this matter. Zhu Jianshan sneered, We'll see the truth tomorrow. Su family. Su Yoren held her face with both hands, looking distressed. Fan, why is everything so difficult for us? First, there was Lu Zheng stealing love. It took great effort for Jiang Fan to defeat Lu Zheng, and then there was an exorbitant dowry. Fortunately, Chen Silin was willing to help, but then came Zhu Jianshan, who had an incredibly high status and position. There was silence behind her. She turned her head to see Jiang Fan pouring spiritual liquid from a jade bottle into a teacup. He handed it to her. "Drink it." Su Yoren looked suspicious. "What is it? You'll know once you drink it." Jiang Fan smiled, turned around, and picked up a pen to transcribe something. Su Yoren pondered briefly before drinking it swiftly. Anyone in this world might harm her, but never Jiang Fan. Unexpectedly, as soon as the spiritual liquid entered her stomach, it churned violently, causing her meridians to ache. "Fan, what is this?" Surprised, Su Yoren saw Jiang Fan handing her several pages of prepared text. "Cultivate according to this mental method." Mental method? Su Yoren knew exactly how precious mental methods were. The Su family, despite its reputation, only practiced an unknown mental method, not even at the lower level. Feeling the intense pain in her stomach, she wasted no time, sat cross-legged, and began to cultivate as instructed by the mental method. About half a day later, suddenly, Su Yoren's slender body shook and a strong spiritual power emanated from her. "Qi Cultivation third layer," Su Yoren exclaimed in disbelief. "Fan, what did you make me cultivate? What else could it be?" Of course, it was that yellow-level high-grade mental method, the pure wind scripture. However, what truly enabled her to break through in a short period was the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. "These are all things my father left me." Jiang Fan handed her another mysterious liquid. Su Yoren suddenly understood. No wonder Jiang Fan had changed so much recently. His cultivation had advanced rapidly, suddenly having so much money and possessing a seemingly powerful mental method. She took the teacup again, drank the entire bottle of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid in one gulp, and continued to cultivate sitting cross-legged. Jiang Fan also swallowed a bottle and sat beside her to cultivate. The next morning, seeing Su Yoren still in meditation, Jiang Fan quietly packed newly refined Qi Cultivation Liquid and went to the Chen family. "Senior, you're here so early?" The shopkeeper, stepping out of the mansion, saw the burly Jiang Fan and exclaimed, "Miss is busy cleaning the warehouse. I'll take you to the guest hall to rest and immediately inform Miss. No need for such trouble, just take me straight to her." Thus, in front of the Chen family's warehouse, Jiang Fan saw Chen Silin with her slender waist, intently counting various herbs on the ground. A pink top, a blue long skirt, and a simple yet tasteful combination that gave a sweet impression. Her full posterior pressed against the long skirt, outlining a pair of peach petals. "Miss, Senior has arrived," the shopkeeper reminded from afar. Chen Silin stood up hurriedly, turned her head, and almost blurted out Jiang Fan's name. Luckily, she caught herself and quickly corrected. "Senior, you've arrived." Jiang Fan looked at the scattered materials on the ground. "What are these?" Chen Silin, having moved around for a while, her pretty face flushed, making her skin look like peach blossoms. "Reporting to Senior, these are some expired or unsellable herbs. They can only be discarded or sold at a low price." "Really?" Jiang Fan glanced over. These materials weighed at least hundreds of pounds, all filled with spiritual energy, heavenly materials, and earthly treasures. It would be a pity to just throw them away. Suddenly, Jiang Fan's gaze was drawn to an old jade box, inside which lay a branch. Several fiery red, soybean-sized fruits grew on it. "Oh," Jiang Fan picked up the jade box and scrutinized it for a while, saying, "It's actually Forget River beans. Are you really going to throw away such treasures?" In the Taiyin Soul technique, there is a third-grade spirit pill called the Beauty Restore Pill. It can turn white hair black and rejuvenate the skin, a treasure women dream of. However, its main ingredient, the Forget River bean, is extremely rare. It is formed from the tears of a demon called Forget River, reminiscing about its past in its old age. Unexpectedly, the Chen family actually had one. Senior has great knowledge, recognizing the Forget River beans. Chen Silin, with a faint fragrance, approached and gazed at the well-disguised Jiang Fan with sparkling eyes, softly saying, "My grandfather found this on a cliff when he was young. After consulting countless ancient books, he learned it was a Forget River bean, the legendary main ingredient of the Beauty Restore pill. Unfortunately, it is a third-grade spirit pill, and no one can refine it. A second-grade soul master is already a formidable presence. Not to mention the legendary third-grade soul master. Where could the Chen family find such a person? We have the Forget River beans, but without a soul master, it's been a hidden treasure for decades. I plan to sell it cheaply." "Sell it." Jiang Fan's mouth twitched violently. Such wastefulness. "Since you want to sell it, why not give it to me? I'll refine it into a Beauty Restore pill and give you one as payment. How about that?" Chen Silin blinked her clear eyes, reminding him, "Senior, the Beauty Restore pill is a third-grade spirit pill. Only a third-grade soul master can refine it." Jiang Fan replied, "Is there a problem?" Hiss. Chen Silin's eyes widened, covering her rosy lips, exclaiming, You are a third-grade soul master." A second grade and a third grade, though only one grade apart, were worlds apart. The Green Cloud Sect Master held the second-grade soul master they hired with great respect. But if the person were a third-grade soul master, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say the sect master would kneel in respect. Jiang Fan was actually a third-grade soul master. She found it hard to believe. Jiang Fan said, "You'll see once I start refining. Provide me with a secret room." Chen Silin came back to her senses and quickly led the way. "There's one beside the warehouse." Jiang Fan nodded, handed her the 40 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid he had refined the previous day, and stepped into the secret room. He wasn't entirely sure of his soul master level, but being able to refine top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, surpassing his father, a second-grade soul master, refining this pill shouldn't be an issue, right? With curiosity, he began the refining process. At the same time, Zhang Yuxiu and Zhu Jianshan, accompanied by the Chen family matriarch Liu Qimin, arrived at the warehouse. "Xiling, come meet young Master Zhu." Standing by the secret room, Chen Silin did not move but bowed from afar. Lowering her voice to avoid disturbing Jiang Fan, she said, "Mrs. Zhu, young Master Zhu, I'm unable to come over. Please forgive me." Seeing this, Liu Qimin lightly frowned. Zhu Jianshan was a disciple of the Green Cloud sect of significant status. Personally visiting, how could he be treated so indifferently? "Xiling, do not be rude. What could be more important than paying respects to young Master Zhu?" Zhu Jianshan was examining Chen Silin. Her sweet and fresh demeanor, seductive figure, made his eyes light up. Though not as stunning as Su Yoren, she was also an irresistible beauty. He courteously said, "Miss Chen, what are you doing?" Glancing at the secret room she guarded, he searched for a topic. In front of a Green Cloud sect disciple, Chen Silin dared not be arrogant, so she explained, "To be honest, young Master Zhu, a Soul Master Senior is refining pills inside. Forgive me for not being able to chat with you, lest I disturb the Senior." Soul Master Senior. Zhu Jianshan's lips curled. Quite a coincidence. "All right, let's see how I expose him as a fake Soul Master. Daring to bluff before me, Zhu Jianshan, I'll unmask him." With the intention of showing off in front of Chen Silin, Zhu Jianshan carefully took out a bottle of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid from his pocket. He boasted, "This is the authentic top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid awarded to me personally by that second-grade Soul Master from the Green Cloud sect. I have been reluctant to drink it, but today, to ensure Miss Chen is not deceived, I am willing to use it." Deceived. Chen Silin showed a surprised expression. Her mother, Liu Qimin, worriedly explained, "Xiling, young Master Zhu said just now that the second-grade soul master our Chen family met might be fake. I have been thinking, why would a second-grade soul master stay in a small place like Lonely Boat City? If you take out a bottle of top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and compare it with the authentic one, you'll know if it's real or not." Suspect Jiang Fan. Chen Silin got a bit angry and said, "I appreciate young Master Zhu's kind intention, but I can distinguish whether the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid is fake or not." Even if she was young and inexperienced, the shopkeeper couldn't make a mistake, right? Nor would the powerful figures who bought the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid be mistaken, right? Zhu Jianshan's tone grew serious. "Miss Chen, what you don't know is that there has indeed been a batch of counterfeit top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid rampant within the Green Cloud sect territory recently. According to reliable sources, it is likely the work of the Blood Bat Palace. They manufacture a large quantity of counterfeit top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid to deceive martial artists for their money. Not only is this medicine ineffective, but it also contains some toxicity, leading to many deaths. If your Chen family gets deceived and sells fake top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, causing casualties, the consequences would be unbearable." Upon hearing this, Chen Silin's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't help but waver a little. Zhu Jianshan continued, "Miss Chen, take out a bottle of the top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid made by this fake Soul Master and compare it with mine. You will know whether it is real or fake." This, Chen Silin bit her red lips slightly. Doing this would mean suspecting Jiang Fan. When Liu Qimin heard this, her face changed dramatically, feeling the situation was severe, and said, "Xiling, what are you hesitating for? Your father is seriously ill in bed. You can't afford to make any mistakes." Thus, Chen Silin hesitated for a moment, then gritted her teeth, took out a bottle of just exchanged top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid and walked over, saying, "How do we compare them?" Smelling the intoxicating fragrance from Chen Silin, Zhu Jianshan couldn't help but feel restless. If he unmasked the fake Soul Master, it would be equivalent to saving the entire Chen family. By then, even if Chen Silin had to commit herself to him, the Chen family would have no objections, right? Suppressing the restless evil fire in his heart, Zhu Jianshan took out 2 gray-brown seeds. These are spirit-finding flower seeds. They are very sensitive to spiritual energy and are usually used to precisely distinguish the grade of Qi Cultivation Liquid. Just watering them with a bottle of Qi Cultivation Liquid will make them emit different height sprouts based on the absorbed spiritual energy, thus determining the quality of the Qi Cultivation Liquid. Pausing for a moment, Zhu Jianshan glanced at the Qi Cultivation Liquid in Chen Silin's palm and said, "Of course, if it's fake Qi Cultivation Liquid, the seed will not move at all. If Miss Chen doesn't have any other questions, let's begin." Zhu Jianshan first opened his top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, feeling very reluctant. He hadn't even been willing to drink it himself. But if he could save the Chen family and win over Chen Silin, a great beauty, this bottle would be worth it. Gritting his teeth, he poured an entire bottle of Qi Cultivation Liquid onto a seed. After 3 breaths, a miraculous scene occurred. The seed swelled, cracked, sprouted, and grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than 10 breaths, it grew into a 3-inch tall, lush green sprout. Zhu Jianshan said, 1 inch means low-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, 2 inches is mid-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid, 3 inches is authentic top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. "Miss Chen, it's your turn." Chen Silin was a bit nervous. If it was fake, what should she do? Should she uphold justice for Su Yoren and take down Jiang Fan? Liu Qimin urged with concern, sighing, "What are you hesitating for?" Helpless. Chen Silin had to bite her red lips and hesitantly pour the Qi Cultivation Liquid onto the seed. Then, her crystal-clear eyes stared unblinkingly at the seed. In her heart, she silently prayed that it must be real. If not, the Chen family would be doomed. Not only would they be unable to surpass the Qin family, but they would also have to pay a heavy price for the previously sold fake top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid. Zhu Jianshan, on the other hand, looked relaxed, with a victorious smile on his lips. Even with simple logic, it was obvious that this bottle must be fake. After all, there was only 1 second-grade Soul Master within the Green Cloud sect territory. 3 breaths passed, the seed indeed remained motionless. Chen Silin's heart skipped a beat and ached faintly. Her beautiful face visibly showed signs of panic. What she feared most had happened. It turned out to be fake. Zhu Jianshan smiled slightly, revealing the demeanor of a benefactor, saying, "Miss Chen, fortunately I appeared in time. The Chen family is not deeply affected yet, and there is still room for maneuver." Liu Qimin's body swayed, almost unable to stand, her face turning pale. She hurriedly said to Zhu Jianshan, "Thanks to young Master Zhu, otherwise our Chen family would be doomed. You have done our Chen family a great favor. Please accept my bow." She was about to kneel down. Zhu Jianshan courteously helped her up and said, "Aunt, you are too kind. I got along well with Silin and couldn't bear to see her fall into the crime of the family, so I helped." Everyone could understand his implication. Liu Qimin was also delighted. If her daughter got the favor of a disciple from the Green Cloud sect and it turned into a marriage, it would be the best possible outcome. She hurriedly said, "Siling, shouldn't you thank young Master Zhu?" Chen Silin was still in shock from the drastic turn of events, dazedly saying, "Thank you, young Master Zhu." Liu Qimin deliberately tried to matchmake them and scolded. "Is this the way to thank someone?" She held Chen Silin's hand and placed it in Zhu Jianshan's palm, smiling, "Take young Master Zhu and have a good walk in our garden." Only then, Chen Silin suddenly came to her senses and quickly withdrew her hand, saying, "Mother, what are you doing?" Liu Qimin simply spoke straightforwardly. "Siling, young Master Zhu sacrificed a bottle of authentic top-grade Qi Cultivation Liquid for you. Isn't his affection clear?" She grabbed Chen Silin's hand again, saying, "Besides, young Master Zhu saved our entire Chen family, saving dozens of lives. Isn't it right for you to express your gratitude to him properly?" Chen Silin continued to struggle, but it was very feeble, because Zhu Jianshan indeed had a great favor. Just as she was about to be handed over to Zhu Jianshan, she suddenly glimpsed something from the corner of her eye and quickly shook off Liu Qimin's hand, exclaiming, "It moved, the seed moved."